Hello, good evening, and welcome. You are through to the Inview. This is a non-biased Inview that's not attached to any media. It is the views of you, me, and everyone that's listening right now. Um, we're here every week on a Sunday, bringing you a plethora of guests, which we've got an enormous amount of guests coming up, as well as coronavirus that obviously everyone's talking to. Now, I do know tonight's show is going to clash with a certain person in Buckingham Palace, Queen's speech. I'd like to start off. I think the Queen does a lot for this country. I think her family lets her down, certain members of her family, certainly. But I do feel that, in these times that we're in at the moment, yes, we need people to stand up and say the right things. But are we getting this all wrong in lots of ways? Because, there is a have and have not culture in this world we live in, unfortunately. And that have and have not culture is very much about those that have much and those that don't have any, which is what a lot of people bang on about in Parliament itself. I think the Queen can give a speech, that's fine, and all sorts, and she'll thank all the people that's doing everything. I mean, everyone is out clapping for the NHS. It's not just the NHS. They should be clapping for bus drivers, for people in shops. I know people in shops that they haven't got any screens between themselves and people. And, if we are to believe what this coronavirus is, which, there are so many question marks over the fact that how contagious is this? Now, I know hundreds of people died, but who's to say that this isn't similar to what we had before in flu-like bouts? Now, I do feel that we've had an interesting week in the press. That's the mass media. That's the machine of fear that comes through, which I'll come through to in a minute. I want to talk about who's on the show tonight, because obviously that's very important. We have got a real mixed bag of guests tonight. I can't be on because of they're busy or something. They can't be here tonight. So we have got a 7:20 tonight. The amazing Nikki Parkinson, who's creator of Cool Kids with Cool Minds and co-owner and co-operator at the Westbury. I'm going to try this word. Osteopathic and Sports Injury Clinic. I think I got that right. She's also a very spiritual being and very switched on this reality. We do have also the amazing Teresa Searle, who will be on roughly about 8 o'clock-ish, something like that. And she brings us every single month the astrological stars for the month of April. Now, obviously, we've still seen the joke things going around that actually, there isn't much going on. Well, there is enormously in the planet alignments, I'm sure. Then we were going to have Mario Morris, who is a very good friend of mine. Also, he's a magician, and unfortunately, he can't be on tonight. So after Teresa Searle tonight, we have Joe Dupfield from the Whole of You, priestess healer, mediumship, energy healer, intuitive counselor, many, many different things. I'm really looking forward to having her back on the show. And last but no means least, we do have Lieutenant Kit Kat. Hasn't been on for a long time, from the Mormon Police Department, where we have had an astounding amount of things happen in our reality. He will be talking about the goat mafia, which he talked about us before, but he's also going to talk about the wildlife that seems to be taking over. Hello, Gemma. Welcome along. Gemma Jane Brooks and Jason McCusbro's here. Hello. Welcome to both of you. Remember, on this YouTube channel, it is all new. It's not on Facebook Live anymore. You can subscribe, you can share, and you can like. All of those things we like on here. It is different. The reason why I brought about the interview was to bring about a different perspective, a different focus. This is way coronavirus or anything. To bring out a truth of what's really going on. And we've talked about Brexit and we've talked about all the other things, but obviously the only topic in the news, which unfortunately I feel is mass fear projected to you on a scale you would not believe. And I'm not here to give you fear. I'm here to give you a realistic understanding of what's going on by a viewpoint of somebody that's worked in spirituality for 40 odd years, getting on that way. It's interesting this week that we've had the internet is rife in all mediums of media, is rife very much. Hello, Matthew. Welcome along. Is rife with, unfortunately, the terrible thing called 5G. Now, 5G, I've been looking into this. 5G is a very, very dangerous thing. They put 100,000 masks into Wuhan, where this started, and then they turned it on. And obviously these masks are different to 4G because this is something where they have to put more up, because obviously they can't go through buildings, can't go through solid objects. So therefore, when they turned it on, people fell over, people became ill, radiation and 5G sickness, really. And people are susceptible to sensitivity of electricity were highly affected by it. I feel personally, I know we have to move forward in some ways, but I don't feel that 5G is the answer. And it's here, it's in our country. And right now, while everyone is actually in their houses, because we're all in solitary confinement and imprisonment, if you like, because not allowed to go out. They're even talking today about not allowing people to actually go and exercise. So, you know, restrictions more and more. And I can understand it to a degree, but I can't understand it by the mixed messages that we get from government, which is absolutely atrocious. Last Thursday, I was banging on about that 300,000 passengers were coming back to this country, and none of them being checked. Well, if you're Prince Charles or the Queen or all manner of different people like Boris Johnson, you can get checked. But people coming off of planes from abroad, coming back to this country from Italy, from Spain, from all the worst affected areas, are not being checked. They're just going straight through. Their temperature's not being taken or anything. It's absolutely madness. Matthew John says EMF sickness is the corona symptoms. Yes, in lots of ways it is, because, you know, we are being affected by our frequency and vibration, and frequency and vibration is very much down to what we carry within inside ourselves, which sits in a normal span normally, but can be affected. But we're also affected by what we eat, because what we eat in this world is also infiltrated and affected in so many different ways. And from that as well, we also, what we drink, what we breathe, chemtrails, all the things. Look, I did something a long time ago. I'll show you this. I did something a long time ago. Infections to humanity all around the world. I'll show you this. This is something I wrote out. You won't be able to read any of it, but it basically anything from mobile phones, landline, Wi-Fi, water supplies, electricity, games consoles, mind control, manipulation, CCTV, sleep, food and drink, and just about everything else you can possibly imagine. It's all affecting us in one way or another, without any of us actually having any say in it. Did we do the right thing to shut us all up? Has all countries done the same thing? Well, I'm going to tell you now that other countries haven't. I want to talk about a country which has close to 1,000 confirmed cases, announced strict quarantine measures separating people by gender in an effort to stop the spread of coronavirus. From Wednesday, men and women will be able to leave their homes for only 2 hours at a time on different days. No one will be allowed to go out on Sundays. This is absolute quarantine for nothing more than to save your life. I think it's disgusting. Where is our civil liberties gone? Why isn't somebody actually talking to us and telling us what's really happening? Colombia. In some Colombia towns, people are allowed to outside based on the last, listen to this. Colombia towns, people are allowed outside based on the last number of their national ID number. So your last ID number dictates when you can go out. So if your ID number ends in 0, 7 or 4, you're to leave the house on Monday. While those with an ID number ending 1, 8 or 5 can go out on Tuesday. Bolivia has done the same thing. Serbia's government introduced a dog walking hour from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock for those in lockdown, but has now scrapped it to house a protest from dog owners. And then we have got Sweden. Now, Sweden's a very interesting place because Sweden actually hasn't got a lockdown. Sweden's take a relaxed attitude when it comes to lockdown procedures and measures. Despite close to 4,500 confirmed cases, the government hopes people will behave sensibly and trust them to do the right thing. Gatherings of more than 50 people are banned, and obviously schools for children under 16 remain open. Pubs and restaurants can still offer table service, and many people are still socialising normal. Malaysia, the government was forced to apologise after its women's ministry posted cartoons online telling wives to dress up, wear makeup and avoid nagging their husbands during the country's partial lockdown. Social media users were quick to criticise the posters which were taken down. I want to know, this is one here in Australia, last one here. While the World Health Organization says healthy people do not need to wear face masks unless caring for someone, Austria has made it obligatory. So they must wear face masks. Okay, that opens a question, doesn't it? We have had for a long time, 5, 6 weeks now, where we haven't had to wear face masks. Now, in America, President Trump stood up and said it's voluntary to wear a face mask. Well, it's not airborne, as far as I'm aware. As far as I'm aware, it's not airborne. So why now do we have to wear face masks? Why didn't we do it 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago? I don't understand it. Don't understand their thinking. And what's even more confusing is that the President Trump will not. He said, I'm not going to wear one. So it just makes a mockery of all of it. So somebody please tell me what the hell's going on. We had the health minister, Mr. Hancock, this week say in a long statement in the press where he's doing his normal interview. And he said, we're going to get up to 10,000 a day. Well, they have done that. And they're going to hit 250,000 a month. 100,000 a few weeks. I feel that they just stand there and say whatever they want to say to you. And everyone swallows it. And I'm sorry, but we have to stand up to be ourselves in this huge crisis we're in, which to a degree is being created by other circumstances, whether it be 5G, because they want everyone working, putting up as many masks as possible while we're all stuck inside. They're now talking about we're going to ban you going out, basically only for food. I don't get it. I don't get it. Also, this country needs 330,000 ventilators, and they've just had delivered 300. There's 30 delivered the other day. There's thousands of people need this. Plus, they stand there. Hello, Nicola Parkinson, who's on our first guest, on very shortly, actually, has joined us. I don't understand in this day and age, and it shows you what this government has done to the NHS itself by radically stripping it of what it's needed. And I can understand people going out clapping and cheering and everything else. But realistically, what they need is more money. They need more money. These people are doing life-threatening work and they need more money. It's clear. You know, these parliamentarians on their £80,000 a year. What's a nurse get? I don't know what a nurse gets, but I'm sure it's like 15, 20, 25,000 for a job that's far, far more important than even a parliamentarian, to be honest. It's life and death. So I don't know what's going on here because, I know that a lot of people get sick to death for talking about coronavirus. I put lots of stuff on my wall to give people knowledge and wisdom. There is something going on with 5G that is affecting us in a metaphysical way and affecting us in a physical way as well. And I do feel that those that stand in power are lying basically to us. They're not telling us the truth. There is, I would like to say, good things happening as well. And surprisingly, in this terrible time. But, we have got a big operation going on in America, which has freed 35,000 children. This is from pedophilic satanic ritual abuse on children. 35,000 has been released. And this has been done by President Trump's orders. So, we're not seeing that. That's not in the news. It's blanketed because your news is controlled by only a limited amount of people and they project what they want you to hear. But if you go to Simon Parks on YouTube, he'll tell you all about what happened or what is going to happen and what has happened. And he's well in the know as well. So I'd like to also say, and I bang on about this all the time, what's happened to Prince Andrew? Why aren't we talking about that anymore? Where has that gone? What's this list of Epstein and his paedophilic, horrible people that go into power, that go into parliament, that go into celebrity world? Why aren't we talking about that? And why ain't Prince Andrew in America? And the parents of the young lad that was knocked off his bike and killed, nothing. Don't see him, don't hear anything. How must they feel? How must they feel? And above all, all the people that are flooded. It was only a month or so ago. We have people all over the country, up the north, in the Wales, everywhere, flooded. What's going on with these people? Does nobody care anymore? Are they all back in their houses? Is it all just a dream? Did it not happen? I just find that, in times that we sit in, we need people that can lead. And unfortunately, we don't have leadership in this country. What we've got is Boris Johnson sitting in his flat where he is sitting there not popular. Not popular because he's under the fake guise of having coronavirus. And if he has had it, I hope he gets better soon. But he, inside himself, has given it to his fiancée, apparently. So he has to quarantine longer. I feel he would do anything he can not to get in front of a camera right now. And I'm telling you why. And there's many people saying the same thing. Like, where's Wally? Where's Boris? This person just wants to be popular. He doesn't want to be or seem to be incapable. But I'm sorry, at the moment, he is. And, he sends out all his troops and all sorts. Apparently, he's still doing everything in the background and everything. The problem is there's a massive agenda going on here that me, you, or anyone listening right now has nothing or no knowledge about at all. Do you know, I told you last week, I banged on about it last couple of shows, actually. But we had the case of homelessness, right? Homelessness in this country was supposedly going to be stopped. And I know somebody sent it me today, very kindly, that down in Portsmouth, they got like 30 shipping containers for people that are just going to live in. Great. That's something, at least. But I don't feel that's everyone. And they promised they'd get them all off the streets by this weekend. Of course, none of us know if they're there or not because we can't really go out to see, can we? Can I just pass some numbers by you? There is an estimated, this is from Big Issue, There is 320,000 people homeless in the UK. That equates to 1 in every 201 Brits. Rough sleepers are just the visible tip of the iceberg when it comes to registering and understanding the homelessness crisis. The widening net of poverty and breakdown in mental health provision means numbers are growing. Between 4,000 and 5,000 people bed down the streets on any given night, a figure that's doubled since 2010. And as of March 2019, 84,740 households are stuck in temporary accommodation, up more than 75% from 2010. Now, I do know some people are off in their hotels. That's great. We can't forget every living human being. Do you know what I mean? John says the NHS is part of the military industrial complex. Their only mission is to get you patched up and back out to work as soon as possible. What he says, what's really scary is a new Corona bill which has been passed. If you read it, you'll be shocked how much our liberties are gone. I know. And I know I've seen the petitions of actually online to actually go against it. But unfortunately, they all brought it in. Your civil liberties eroded. They can actually do whatever they like right now under the guise. I haven't read all the bill, but it's scary. And people have passed this bill and passed the bill without consultation, debate, because we're in this crisis point. We must sign something, get it done. Yes, out the way. Same in America, same all over the world. I think we have our first guest. Hello, is that Nikki? Hello, Nikki.
Hello, Clint.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Got a bit of feedback of myself there.
Very well, thank you. Right, how do I get rid of that?
Do you want to just turn it down?
Yeah. How do I get rid of that? Do you want to just turn it down? Better?
That's better. How are you, Nikki? It's been ages since I spoke to you.
Oh, I'm very well, Clint, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, yes. Yes, I'm trying to do my bit, as we all are trying to do something in this immensely mad time, isn't it?
Crazy times.
It doesn't add up. People, I was talking about just now, and, you know, I know a lot of people are fed up with talking about coronavirus, but it's not coronavirus they should be worried about, is it?
No, not at all. It's what's going on underneath it all. It's very scary. There's a lot of people sussing out that something else is going on underneath it, aren't there?
There is. And I do feel very strongly that that's not, that a lot of that is not out. I know there is, as I said, good things happening. I do know President Trump is actually trying to tidy up paedophilia in his country, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, which is amazing. It sounds horrifically big, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm quite shocked at how big it actually is turning out to be.
It's amazing as human beings how degrading people can be.
Oh my God, it's horrific, isn't it? It really is.
And you know, how are you coping and everything? I know that you know, yourself and Viv, who's got a garage and all sorts, and he's had, I mean, I've seen posts of Viv's posts, and I feel really sorry for the guy.
Oh God, I know. It's hard.
He has a business there that's thriving, doing really well, got a lot of people working there, and, you know, he's been blatantly open and honest on Facebook what's going on, and I take my hat off to him for that.
Yeah, true. It's so hard. I mean, he's keeping his head above the water and applying for all the grants and the help that is out there so that he can keep his people in their jobs and keep the business afloat until he can sort of go back and they can all resume as normal. But my God, how many businesses must be panicking like mad? You know, the whole economy is so wobbly right now, isn't it? Oh my God.
But you've got to ask yourself what, you know, I mean, I know supposedly it's coronavirus, but we didn't have this with bird flu. We didn't have this with foot and mouth. We didn't have this with SARS. We didn't have this with AIDS. You know, and AIDS is more contagious because you go and have sex.
That's so true.
You know,
It's so true. Oh my God! And like, if you look at this is what is making everybody just think it's so weird. If you look at the normal turnover of the amount of people that die from normal flu every year, it's thousands, isn't it?
It is hundreds of thousands, anywhere between 250 to 650,000 a year die in the world.
I think you also put a post on the other week saying there was more people that had committed suicide this week than died of coronavirus.
Yes, and of course, you know as well, because I know you've got cool kids, cool minds. Much about which you started up and founded, which is very much about positivity, mindfulness, understanding in relation to how you deal with your children, which realistically is not easy at this time. Can you imagine being a one-parent family and you have 3 children in your house with you?
Oh my God, it's horrific, isn't it? And it's just all the messages that things like pop stars, people like Madonna, that a lot of kids follow, and the messages that she gives out because of the connections that she has. It all promotes all this lack of gender and not knowing what gender you are and split personalities.
Yeah, because we've gone down what I can only describe an absolutely ridiculously mad route. Absolutely ridiculous in this day and age. That there is, I think Piers mentioned it on one of his morning news programs. I think he said there's about 115 different genders you can be in this world now.
Oh my God! It's just crackers, isn't it?
I mean, you're born a boy or a girl, and then obviously, you know, at some point you might feel that you're not in the right body. I understand people like that, but this has gone too far. It
has gone. Yeah, it has gone too far. They're trying to drive it into the population today to say they're trying to sort of really undermine everybody and say you don't know who you are, you don't know what you stand for, you know, you don't know your own mind. We're going to take over your mind and control it for you. That's what it's about, isn't it?
It is mind control experimentation. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yeah, it is.
When you sit and watch television, you watch adverts, you're being controlled.
Yeah.
When you watch EastEnders, you're being controlled. Well, it won't be on very long because they can't do enough episodes. So that's a shame, isn't it?
God.
But that's only one area of what you have to deal with. And I know you obviously can't do much of that at the moment, but I know you have packages and everything for parents and groups. And I know you go out and you're promoting, you know, meditation, quiet space, calm.
Oh my God,
and above all, one of the things you promote is communication, which sadly is lacking today.
Oh, isn't it just, it's awful, isn't it? Children live in the bedrooms with all the internet right in front of them, probably being able to access so many things they shouldn't be able to see.
Well, yeah, they access whatever they like, can't they?
Yeah. And there's no communication at all, is there? It's hard. It's a hard world for them to grow up in. I would not like to be a child today.
No, well, luckily I'm mentally about 10, but Matthew John says, look at what crap they consume. It's enough to boggle their mind. No, I wonder why they don't know what gender they are. And Jason says, so is there going to be over 100 different public toilets?
That's a good question, isn't it?
Seriously, though, there is. Look. However you look at this, you know, you're either male or female.
Yeah.
I can't see what. I mean, you know, I'm an alien. I'm from another world, but I'm in this body at the moment. But you know, I'm in a male body. But we do have the male and female genes. They're there.
Yeah.
They're there all the time with us.
Yeah.
And I say loads of men in readings that they need to get in touch with their feminine side. And that's not kidding, I'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, isn't it? And it's knowing who you are. But, oh, my goodness. I mean, I follow David Icke, and some of the stuff he puts on, he shares videos of things that the elite do and say. And, you know, you just think, how can they be proud of what they're doing? How can anybody out there that's sort of got their finger in the pie of this corrupt world, how can they sleep at night?
I know. Because they have no emotion. They're almost, I would say, soulless.
Yes, they are. Yeah,
or locked down, or completely brainwashed. You know, I mean, I didn't go into detail of what these children. There's 35,000 was released, and Simon Parkes did a video on the 2nd of April, which actually talked about this happening. And you know, hardly anyone looked at it, but you know, because it's not on TV. Do you know what I mean? But what they do to these children is absolutely horrific. And I mean, I've spoke about these things for a very, very long time, years back.
Yeah, you have. Yes, you have. You spoke about it years ago.
Matthew John says psychopaths have no empathy. They don't have any empathy. They don't care. They're only interested in money and power.
Yeah, absolutely. They are. And hopefully all the light workers out there are doing so much work at the minute. I got up to join this mass meditation. I got up last night or this morning.
3:45.
So, you know, hopefully the light will prevail over the dark. Hopefully.
I think the light, I mean, going into what we're in at the moment, I do feel that we are in this because it is the dying days of a system that don't work.
Yes, yeah.
Money is irrelevant really right now.
Yeah,
time is irrelevant right now.
Yeah, completely.
I mean, you know, you look at what you get up in the next day and you say, what I'm going to do today? Well, shall I be in the living room or the bathroom, or shall I be downstairs, or shall I be outside in the garden? You know, I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? But I do feel it's a time where people are having to look at themselves. Now, this is enforced, bear in mind.
Yeah.
I read out earlier on, there's countries like Sweden that haven't got this in place.
Yeah, no, they don't. Not at all, do they?
No.
Not at all.
And I, to a degree, would be better off if we weren't in this situation. Because are these people, I mean, I do know Eddie Large, who died in the week, sadly. From Eddie Little and Large. He died. He had heart problems, but they put in on their death certificate he died of coronavirus.
I know. It's interesting, isn't it?
You know, I mean, it just makes you wonder, and it makes you wonder even more when they're building all these hospitals for thousands of people. Who are they going to be for? Because
I'm not sure.
And then they're building a huge morgue in East London, 2 football pitches size outside. Who's that going to be for?
Yeah. I know, it's very weird, isn't it? Very weird.
So it tells me that we're not being told the truth, really.
Yeah, we never are we? And we'll never get to the bottom of it, and we'll never find the truth about it.
I think we will, because I actually feel
that's good.
There is so many people that have an opinion like you, like me, like everyone listening right now. There is something drastically wrong right now.
A lot of people are questioning it, aren't they? They are.
And, you know, going to children, it is a time to have concerns, because you've got children that's going to be cooped up in houses with families that they don't often see, where maybe it's difficult. Yeah. And maybe it's not easy. And you know, also you've got parents that don't normally see each other, don't spend time together normally as much as they are. It's immensely toxic, isn't it? I mean, domestic violence, child abuse, and all sorts of things. And as you said already, in suicide, it's going to go up, isn't it? And divorce.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. It is. And it's harsh. It's so harsh. I mean, for some of these kids, going to school was an escape of a situation.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And a stability that they don't always know. And so, they're lacking in that. And, the thought of how they're going to come out of this is quite scary, isn't it?
Well, I think one of the problems that I think is mind-boggling for people is that they don't know, because there's no politician gives them any answers.
Yeah, no, that's
they just stand there and just say, stay indoors, stay safe, and save lives and save the NHS. It's not just about the NHS. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
If the Tory government hadn't slashed millions in the budget of the NHS, got rid of nurses and doctors, and got rid of all the stuff that they should have, we wouldn't be 6 weeks nearly down the line, and we're only getting 300 ventilators.
I know. It's just bizarre, isn't it?
It's so mixed message that you get from them. 300,000 people flying back to this country from abroad, not being checked. No tests, no temperatures, nothing.
I saw another plane go over today, and you think, where has it been? Where's it going?
Yeah.
Why is there a plane in the sky?
And there's thousands of flights out at the moment.
Traffic. Yeah, there is. And like you say, they're not being checked. One of my patients came home last week from Borneo, came straight into the country and said, I'm in self-isolation. I don't know if your clinic's still open, but I'm not coming. I've got to self-isolate because she hasn't been checked.
Yeah.
And that's about as much as she'll need to do.
Yeah.
And some people will not do that self-isolation.
No, but these people walk amongst people. Now, none of us know what this is because, it's not just about the flu virus. Talking about 5G earlier on.
Oh, God. Oh, my God, yeah. They're rolling that out, aren't they? Yeah,
well, there's lots of people doing that at the moment that are very close proximity to each other, putting masks up on schools.
Yes, yeah, and I read that there's still this HS2 train line. They're still working on that, and all the tubes in London are still as busy as they ever were.
Yes, I mean, I was talking about it on Thursday, on Wednesday when I had my other show. The fact that Acton Station that morning in London had thousands getting off a tube. It was on overground, and crossing the station to all thousand get in another tube.
Yeah, it's not right, is it? There's something really, really not right about it all.
But you see, this is where what I've said already. Boris Johnson is not a leader.
No, he's not. No, he just wants to be.
He just wants to be liked.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And there's somebody quivering in a corner that he cannot handle this.
No, he can't. He can't handle this, that's for sure. That is for sure.
Jason McCuzzon says someone could have a car accident and the police and attendants say bag and tag has coronavirus. We got to get the numbers up.
I know. You see, that makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Well, the laws that's been brought in.
Yeah.
The bill that's been brought in is taken away enormous amounts of our civil liberties, which we've had no decision on. This has been decided for us in our best interest. It's not in my best interest, not in your best interest. It's in their best interest.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
I mean, I'm not here to scaremonger or anything. I'm here to keep it real. But the fact is that at the moment, we are all sitting targets, really, in relation to whatever they want to do with us.
Yeah, I know.
Because
and how quickly have they been able to immobilise us?
Yes.
So quickly.
Yeah. We are heading next week for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And do you really think that they're all going to say, well, you're going to go out now, it's all great? Of course they're not.
I know.
There's going to be another month of this.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people will not be able to deal with because there's a lot of people out there who haven't got any money at all, won't get it till June if they're self-employed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people out there that are struggling big time.
Yeah.
And under enormous pressure. And
it's, oh my God, I don't know how they're dealing with it. I really don't.
No, because, it's not so bad when we're down in quieter places, but you get into places like Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's not good. And because there's loads of people at a park yesterday in London, 3,000 people in a park, they're now saying, well, if you carry on like this, then they're going to shut them places for a start. So we can't go out to actually sit in it. So these people probably haven't got a garden. Do you know what I mean? And they probably want to meet up. We're social animals. We like to interact and meet. If we can meet up 2 meters apart from each other, why can't we do that?
I know. That's it. It just doesn't make sense, does it? They'll let people go to work. They'll let people on tubes, but they won't let people stay 2 meters apart in a park.
Look, policemen get in a car. There's two of them. They don't live in the same house.
Yeah,
They
no,
just
that's
sit
true.
by each other. Policemen get
Yeah.
in a van, a riot squad van. Loads of them all sit next to it. None of them live with each other.
Exactly. It's just crazy times, isn't it?
Mike
So
Hancock
crazy.
was interviewed this morning on television, and he was telling everyone they must stay in, not go out. Where's he being interviewed? Outside in London.
I know. Oh my God! It just
he's just standing there outside in London saying you can't go outside.
I know. It's just, and they really, really think that we're not seeing.
Yeah, but we're educated people. We can see it. We know it's wrong. We know what's happening is wrong.
Yeah, we do. We do. It's so true.
Matthew John said they wanted to push us hard so we kick off and they can impose martial law and total lockdown. To a degree, I don't disagree with him because they are almost baiting social disobedience.
Yeah.
Civil unrest. And there will be, because there will be people that are, we look at, I know what you deal with in your work with children and also with adults in what you do in the sports centre with osteopathy. My God, I said it.
Yeah, you said it.
Are people that they're going through psychological trauma in a way.
Yeah.
Can you understand the scale of psychological trauma going on this planet, this country right now, this UK? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot, isn't there? There's a lot, and so more people will be driven to the doctors. More people will turn to medication,
drink,
to help deal
drugs.
with it. Yeah, drink, absolutely. And again, it's just another form of control of packing you into a box, into a small cage, so that you limitations of your mind are just beyond belief.
And they've stopped people meeting each other.
Yeah.
As you know, I mean, you probably had a lot of events lined up. You obviously can't do your job at the moment, like Viv and like myself. You can't go and do events. You can't see people. Luckily, I can do some work still online on phones and things like that. But it's a very, very difficult time. We have to adjust to it. But at the same time, I do think looking at nature itself, which has taken over a lot of places, because they've come out because they see nobody probably thinking, where the hell are all them humans gone? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's amazing. Did you share? Was it you that shared the video of the goats?
The goats, yeah.
Oh, that was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, the goats all roaming around the streets, standing on cars.
Oh God, it's brilliant, isn't it? And then is it in Japan where the deer, all the deer have taken over the streets in Japan in a town in Japan, and that's beautiful. It's so nice. But Mother Nature's just sticking two fingers up at us all and going,
absolutely.
Oh,
but to a degree, most people don't look at nature at all.
No, they don't. No.
And nature is making a comeback here. But it is about where we've got to change. We've got to change our compassion, our understanding, our care. We have got to get away from self-centeredness. We've got to get away from in what will come. Unfortunately, there will be a deciding point for people where they want to go and what they want to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a good saying that's going around on Facebook at the minute. Whilst you're in a state of difference, of non-normality, take your time to think about the aspects of your normality that you actually want to go back to. And I like that saying because there'll be an awful lot of aspects of people's normal lives that they don't actually want to go back to.
No, they won't. They won't at all because, what they don't realise is they'll never be able to go back to what it was anyway because it won't ever be the same again.
No, it won't ever be the same again.
Whatever happens here, which I do feel we're in for a much rougher ride yet, to be honest. I do feel that there will be the vaccines, which I I totally am against, because I don't believe anything they're going to put in there that puts in me is any good.
No, I
The
don't.
tests themselves would be dangerous. And that's my own opinion. I'm not saying everyone should do that.
No,
But
exactly. Yeah.
and you know what'll happen is you will not, when we come out of this, we will still have social distancing for a year, 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
Which will still be there, where we totally lose getting near people, basically.
I know.
And then that caused division. But we're also going to have a situation where you'll have a piece of paper if you've been a good slave. A good slave, you get your vaccine and you've been tested. Then you get a bit of paper saying you're a good slave citizen and you can actually go abroad. If you ain't got one, you can't go.
I know. They're really pushing that, aren't they? They're going to really start to push that with all vaccines.
Yes.
See what happens when you don't have a vaccine. And I don't promote anti-vaccination. I let everybody decide
Absolutely
for themselves. But yeah, it's just a great. I work with a lot of autistic and Asperger's and special needs children.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I get told, so what did you think was the precipitating incident to your child developing this? And like, there's a big percentage that say, oh, it happened after they got their injections.
Yeah.
And it's not the only underlying cause, but, you know, it's just toxic, isn't it? So
it is.
Toxic.
The thing is that, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say this, most people don't trust them.
No. Why should they?
Well, why should you? Yes, because we've been locked down in a society where basically we have to work like slaves.
Yeah.
You know, if you're lucky enough to buy a house, you have to work. If you're lucky enough to be in the job, work 25 years, then it's your house. They tell you it's your house, but in your house until you actually get it. Everything's fallacy in our life.
Yeah.
And they are pushing for cashless society and a new currency of some description.
Yeah, they are. The amount of children I work with that don't actually handle cash, they just handle a plastic card, and in their head, money isn't a reality because they've never actually handled in it. Yeah. And it's the same for and it's like this elusive thing that they're never going to start to see. So many things they can't afford these days, like a car and car insurance, and what they have to save up for a house is ridiculous. And it's like I say, they never actually.
Well, they're not going to get on the ladder, are they? A lot of people ain't going to do it.
Yeah, never.
It's impossible.
Not unless they get help. Yeah. And it's so like when my parents were around, there was less money around than ever, and they had a better quality of life back then than anybody does or seems to do now.
Because there was trust.
Yes.
There was a certain amount of trust in those that were governing, even though they were probably lying, but they did have an intention of truth.
Yeah.
What we have here is public schoolboy idiots that really don't care about any of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is across the board, right across the world as well.
Yeah, it is. Yes, without a shadow of a doubt.
Jason says, well, the weather is certainly pushing the decision which were made to enable total lockdown, almost pushed to a kind of civil war. I agree with him.
Yeah.
I agree with him because
I do.
People are in a vacuum space here, and the more you feed it, like you are at the moment, the more volatile it's going to get. Now, I'm not condoning people going around and doing whatever they do because it's volatile out there now, but it doesn't help if you've got people that you give them a uniform and they become a job's worth and they say, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. And they got these new laws. And these new laws are draconian. Believe me, they are absolutely draconian.
They are. You can see it coming in, can't you?
Yeah. You know, I mean, they worry about Derbyshire police, worry about a couple of people going for a walk with their dog in the Pennines, miles out of nowhere, no one around them.
Yeah.
On the same day, Acton Station, underground station in London, there's hundreds of people getting from one train to another.
I know. It just makes no sense whatsoever.
And why haven't we banned? Why haven't we banned all public transport? Because It's not healthy to be sitting in a carriage, in a bus, anything like that.
Yeah.
It just makes a mockery of it.
It does. It does. And this is what people are seeing through, isn't it? Because everybody's going, hang on a minute. I can't do that, but they can do that. And it just doesn't make any sense.
So how have you and Viv found this time and that in relation to your enforced lockdown?
I know. Well, I've taken it as a retreat.
Yeah.
And I am just jumping on so many meditation sites at the minute. I've never this amount of time to just dedicate to my light work.
Yeah.
And so I've just I've enrolled in a couple of programs. I'm studying. It's come at a good time for me, if there's ever a good time for these things to come. I'm just about to finish my course to qualify with children with learning difficulties.
Brilliant.
So my day generally goes, I'll get up, I'll have a nice meditation, and then I'll do few hours studying, then I'll do some more meditation.
Yeah.
So I feel quite lucky, really. I feel quite blessed. And Viv has just been gardening, trying to sort his work out. At least, it's quite interesting how as soon as the majority of aeroplanes did stop, how the pollution in the air cleared.
Oh, totally.
And we've had nice weather since.
Yeah, the weather has been absolutely amazing. But we do know, I mean, people out there listening might think I'm mad, but they have the ability to change weather. Because if you remember, we had January, February, and pretty much most of March with an occasional nice day. The rest of it was cold, wet, miserable, horrible. And you know, as soon as we're all stuck indoors, out comes the sun.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's very interesting. The whole agenda of it is, if you just lift the lid a little bit, what you see underneath the lid, it just blows your mind, doesn't it?
It does, because unfortunately people, you know as well as I do, people in this world do not believe it unless it's on BBC News, Sky News, ITV, or whatever. And it's utter garbage. It's wall-to-wall corona vision.
It is.
You know, that's it. These people have died. These people have died. These people have died. And you've got to stay in because you're going to kill people. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. This is fear-driven TV.
Oh, it is. And it's so, I mean, it always has been fear-driven TV. But
it has been, but it's orgasmically fear at the moment.
It is, isn't it? It made Brexit look quite...
Oh, it makes Brexit look like a tea party.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, everybody's saying, God, give me back Brexit. And that was fear-driven TV, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's all dead. No one knows what's going on with that.
Nope, never been mentioned since.
No, nobody mentions it. And, you know, it's interesting when you watch Al Jazeera or RT News, because they got a different perspective on loads of things.
Oh, you do. You watch the news in any of the country apart from England, and the different perspective you get really, really opens your eyes to how scripted our news is.
Yeah.
To what they want us to see, and want us to focus on. We went to Ireland when all the Brexit stuff was sort of about. We went to Ireland for a few days.
That's lovely, Ireland.
Picked up a couple of newspapers and watched the Irish TV they had on Brexit to what we had over here. And it does open your eyes how controlled we are by the television. It just shocks you when you realise.
What do you think about the fact that we're about 6 minutes away from it, actually? The Queen addressing the nation. What do you think of that?
Well, she's got to be seen to be doing something, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has got to be seen to be doing something. But I'm sorry, but in this day and age, I find it astounding that the fact that you've got many people that are pulling their hair out, no money, and you've got a family there that are wealthy over and over and over and over again. Yeah. Now, if they did things like abroad, and they stayed in the background, that's fine.
Yeah.
But they're not. You know.
I know.
It's.
And what about?
I don't know.
Sorry.
I understand that she, inside herself, would try and install something within people, and there are people out there that will, because she's only going to say what wonderful job everyone's doing and well done, and the NHS and the NHS and the
Yeah.
what about the drivers? What about the people behind shopping kiosks? What about the road sweepers? What about the bus drivers, the train drivers, and all the rest of it? You know, it's not just about the NHS. It's about the logistics surrounding all of it, basically, how we function.
It is.
I'm not a great fan of the rules, to be fair. I do think the Queen is doing a good job, but you know, they're all family. There's a family that realistically don't get cancer, don't get dementia, don't get Alzheimer's, don't get anything. Isn't it funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, and I find it interesting that Prince Charles got coronavirus, and he then immediately took all his staff to Scotland and went and stayed in Scotland for 2 weeks while he had coronavirus.
But of course, he has his own doctor with him all the time.
Yeah.
Well, we'd all love a doctor with us all the time, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we would.
You know, wake up, I've got an 8 doctor. Can you sort that out? Oh, he's in the next room. I'll just go and see him.
I know. It just doesn't make sense. And the people in Scotland actually were kicking off and saying, you know, everybody's been told to not go out, and he specifically got it if he had it.
Well, that's another question altogether.
It is. That is another question altogether, because I think they had to be seen to be like we are. So one of them had to have it.
Yeah.
So whether he did or not, like you say, is a different question altogether.
I mean, I just find it astounding. I do understand it. For her words would be good for some people. I can understand that, but realistically, the Queen is no different to you and me. She's just got a lot of money and privileged state.
Yeah.
You know, she's no different to. She does all the same functions that we do.
Yeah.
You know.
She does. Exactly. But I don't know. People need something to look up to, don't they?
Well, yes, they do.
Outward than inward.
They need something to justify their existence a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with people in the situation they sit in right now, in relation to being indoors. People saying they're bored. I don't know people. I don't know how people get bored, to be honest, because I never do. But you know, they got television, they got they've got all manner of different things. But this bread race that we have are geared to buy things. I must go out, buy something. I must be better than next door. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a self-centered. I always look at this as the last days of Atlantis, to be honest. It imploded on itself.
Yes, it will do. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's how people represent themselves by buying things and what materialistic things they've got. People don't know how to represent themselves from inside, having a personality or a thought or
I've been trying to find one for years.
Yeah. But you're right, it will all implode on itself eventually. It has to do.
Yeah, it will. It will. And you know, it's a very, very difficult time. I understand that, and it's very difficult for everyone out there. But I would say to people out there, and I'm sure you would say the same thing, that I feel that this is only the beginning of what is to come.
Yeah,
to be honest.
It is. Yeah, it's the iceberg, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, all those men that can't go to a pub. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's so many people miss having a beer in a pub. Do you know what I mean? Going to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Being able, you know, when we lose our freedom, we can't get on a plane and go anywhere.
Yeah.
Or anything. You know,
all the little bits of freedom that people miss, like say, like just going to your neighbours or going to the pub or just walking down the road or just going to the local shop. It'll be all the local things that people miss, not jumping on a plane and going to the other side of the world. I went to the post office yesterday, and it was so lovely to see how jolly the ladies were at the post office.
Yeah.
They're just all local ladies. They all just work part-time. and they were just doing a sterling job, and they were so friendly, and I said how nice it was just to see them and just to get out and go and see a different face. So hopefully it'll bring people back to a more local level of living.
Well, I think it's got to be community based. Everything we do has got to be community based, because I do feel that is the road we have to go down, and we have to care for people. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot. There is a lot, but there is a big majority of people that aren't in that zone.
Yes, exactly.
You know, they're not there. They're not in that place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And you hope that it will bring more people's awareness. Somebody I know is going around doing food deliveries.
Yeah.
And he came across a little 89-year-old lady and knocked on the door and said, we believe you're vulnerable. And she said, oh, that's so kind of you to do food delivery. She said, I've just been rationing my food for the past 10 days like I learned to do in the war.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, my God.
And you mentioning that, it's very interesting, because the way Piers Morgan talks about this on television, it'd be on GMTV tomorrow. I like watching him because he's a bit diverse. But at the same time, he's there saying, this is a war.
Yeah.
And it's not a war.
Yeah.
Not a war at all.
It's just, no, it's interesting how many different perspectives people are putting on this.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what people come out of it like, people's thoughts after this.
Yeah.
And what they've got to say afterwards. It will be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
I am as well, and there will be an end, obviously, at some point, but it won't be the same as what it was.
No,
you will not have as much freedom as you did have. It will be very, very different.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see what amount of freedom they let us have back.
Yeah.
But again, it's just we were obviously all getting too big for our boots, and they didn't particularly like it, so they thought they'd clamp us down.
Well, the thing is, what they should be talking about is spiritual guidance. These people are not spiritually guided. These people are materialistically minded, hell-bent on power, wealth, greed, and materialism. They're not interested in spirituality.
They've driven us that way, haven't they? They drove that to be the new faith that people have.
Yeah.
In being outside of their body instead of inside of their body.
Yeah.
And now they've taken everybody outside of the body. Nobody knows how to go back inside their body. It's kind of like, it's just bizarre, isn't it? And it's the easiest, simplest thing. Just forget your materialistic crap around you.
Yeah.
And just sit in peace. But so many people don't know how to reach that peace. And I feel sorry for anybody that doesn't in a time like this. I really do.
Yeah. Matthew says, when it was the job of a police officer to interrupt the law, they don't even know the bloody law. And you have to learn the law to know who you are. I will not lose my freedom, as I do not consent to be governed.
No.
And you have that choice. You have that choice. People don't realise it. That's the thing.
Yes.
I won't say what you're up to, because obviously you're going to be where you are. So you're not going to be out and about or anything.
No.
But, if people want to get a hold of you, if people want to connect to you, if people want to see what you do and everything, then how do they get hold of you?
Just by Facebook. Under Nicola Parkinson, or under Cool Kids with Cool Minds. If anybody wants any advice on either meditating for children or an adult, how to hold a space. I go out there and I try and teach a parent how to hold space for children. And it means that while I'm teaching them how to hold a space for their child, I'm teaching them how to hold a space for themselves. So anybody that wants to know anything about it, they can just get hold of me via Facebook.
Yeah, fantastic. You've been an amazing guest. I don't know where 45 minutes is gone. It's ridiculous.
No, I don't.
It's mad, isn't it?
It does. It does. It's because we don't get to catch up so often.
No, I know. We will. We must do that. We must do that when we're allowed out like good people.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, love to get you back on again in a not too distant future.
Yeah, perfect.
And give my regards to Viv, and keep up the amazing good work you're doing, because I know it is.
Oh, you too.
And we're there having a go. So
good. Perfect. Well done.
All right.
I'm loving the show. Keep the show going.
Oh yes. It's
going.
It's going. We have one in the week as well. So that's for people ringing.
Perfect. Just what people need, Clint.
Yes, absolutely. Spread the light. All right. Well, thank you very much, Nikki.
All right. Take care, Clint.
We'll speak soon. It's fantastic to speak to you.
Yeah. Take care.
All right.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. There's Nicola Parkinson. Cool kids, cool minds. Also, she has a practice of osteopathy. I said it again. In Westbury. Sorry, somebody just sent me a message. Somebody just sent me a message and said the Queen's speech was a load of tosh. I'm not going to mention who it is, but somebody that's the breaking news, gang. Right, while I'm live on air, the Queen's speech is a load of tosh, apparently. Right, so we move on to our next guest, who was trying to get hold of us then, and we're going to go and get hold of her now. And this will be interesting. This is Teresa Searle from Inuit Soul. She is an astrologer. She does Reiki. She does card reading, all manner of different things, and she comes on once a month to tell us what's going on in the stars. Now, this is going to be very interesting, because I'm not quite sure what is going to happen, to be honest, because I do feel that obviously we can't go anywhere and we can't do anything, but we will see. We will see what's occurring. Hello, Teresa.
Hi, Clint. You okay?
How are you? It's fantastic. Sorry, we you know what I'm like. Got waylaid as normal.
That's okay.
How are you? How are you finding this at the moment?
Yeah, no, I'm okay at the minute. Obviously, I do quite a lot of work from home, so it feels like I'm just working at home, really. So it's not been too bad. But it's just very surreal.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I was going to say, how do you feel about everything as it is at the moment?
Just trying to be calm and think, well, it is what it is, and it's funny old times. But I do think April is. I've always said I think April is a bit of a write-off, as in it's going to be like this for April. I think
it is a pressure, isn't it? Because people, one-parent families with children at home. People that can't see anyone because elderly or whatever, that are home on their own. There's all sorts of pressures out there, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. It's difficult, isn't it? But everyone's just coming together and doing their best.
Yes.
But I think there's a lot of confusion there, isn't there?
Oh my God!
What people should and shouldn't be doing. So
yeah. And we're all stuck indoors and the weather's nice.
Yeah.
The confusion comes from the people that actually tell us what we should do. And unfortunately, they haven't really done a very good job of that, to be honest, and leave everything open-ended. And when you look at countries like Sweden, they haven't gone down this road. Do you know what I mean? You can even go into a restaurant in Sweden as long as people sit away from each other.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? But I do think England were trying to do that to start with, weren't they?
They were,
and then they had a U-turn because the public are so used to seeing what else is going on around the world.
Yeah.
That, it's difficult, isn't it? It's they're all trying different ways of doing it, but
is this foretold within the planetary alignments and the astrological grids at the moment?
I mean, to be honest, the January Saturn-Pluto conjunction, it was indicating something big was going to happen.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really any astrologist that was kind of like a virus is coming.
Yeah.
But it was obvious that
but something big could be anything,
coming.
really. Yeah.
yeah, but there's other things that you can look into. That this is going to happen for a long time, and yeah, and I don't know. It's very confusing. There's lots of things, isn't there? You can read and look at and it blows your mind. Some of
it does, and I can understand that because I put a lot of stuff out there that I feel not. Look, I'm not there to frighten people. I'm not there to scare people, but I'm there to put a truth or something within an element of truth that sits within something that people then go away and look at. They've got time to do that. Do you know what I mean? We have got things going in our world that I feel are dangerous.
And I think, it's, there is that the awakened and they're not ready to awaken. And I think this period, it's going to make a lot more people awakened because things are going to blow up and come out for sure. I mean, astrology wise, it's indicating that truths are going to come out that have been hidden and things like that. So people are going to have to awaken to some extent, but we're all on different levels, aren't we? So
we are, and I mean, like you, like me, like many listening, watching at the moment, out there working in the fields and all sorts and that. Obviously, difficult at the moment because you can't see anyone face to face. But I mean, we're obviously working away on phones or on internet readings and things like trying to help people for a difficult time, which I'm sure you're doing as well, aren't you?
Yeah. No, I've been quite busy with video readings and birth charts as well. I've had a few requests for. So actually, I was really worrying. But actually, I'm doing okay. I'm okay.
It is a worry because self-employed people don't get anything to June anyway.
Well,
so we're supposed to live on bread and water.
We don't know really how that's going to work out, whether it's taken on the profits or
it is. It is on profits, and to be honest, most people in self-employed businesses are not in profit anyway.
Well, no, and the thing is, because the expenses we pay out for and things. So it's
you just tick over, and it does go down to profit apparently. So.
Then there's those people that weren't self-employed in 2018-19, so they're not entitled to anything.
They're not entitled to anything. No. They got to sign on, and when you do that, you join a queue of 20,000 people.
And you can't always sign on if, for instance, your husband's working, and if there's savings, because you've got to do a joint one if you're married.
Yeah.
So so then it's difficult.
Why? I don't understand why. And they're trying to do everything they can for people. Why don't they have webinars? Why don't they come on television, say we're going to take half an hour of the TV to go through this and we will be here to answer things. We will be here, all the things that you want answered. There's nothing like it, is there?
No, I mean, obviously they're doing that, every day, aren't they, on the TV?
Well, they are, but they're not really going into detail for people.
No, or for the public, no.
And basically what comes out their mouth is, can you believe that 300,000 people are traveling from abroad, come back to this country and not being checked?
Oh, it's just bonkers. And how have they just written off, I think it's like 3.4 billion.
Yeah. They've
just written off debt, the NHS, they've written it off just like that.
Just like that. Oh, it never existed. They could maybe do that for mortgages and rents, couldn't they?
Well, and they could have saved the NHS a long time ago.
Well,
so I
don't
understand that.
I totally agree with you. Would they only sit in the pile of crap they sit in because they created it? And as for not having PPE, and they still say, oh yeah, we're getting out everywhere. They're not. They're still.
No, and they're 7 years. I think they're about 7 years out of date, but apparently they're fine. So I've seen someone that said 2012 on it, but they've told them that it's fine to use. So
it's very, very interesting. It's a time that we stand together in light, in the face of adversity, because we're there to help as many people as possible. And just doing this show is about bringing something different. That's why I do a show in the week, to bring where people can ask anything, talk about anything. People living on their own intellect. It's not about me. It's about opening an avenue for people to say what they want to say. Do you know what I mean?
It's good to. I mean, we're really lucky that we've got the internet, and phones, and
we are at the moment, but that may change.
Well, yes, with the 3 days of darkness.
Well, the way they're talking, we could have a power outage. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but we could have power outages. Obviously, if we don't, we could have internet outages. We could have.
I think it's going to be more internet, but possibly power.
Yeah,
but more internet.
Yeah, but you know why? It's because they do not want, and they've done this in India. They had 3 days with no internet in India because they did it because of the false propaganda that was being bandied about what's going on. But I've got a bit of an issue because it becomes a martial law state when it's like that. And no, you can't put that on there because I don't agree with it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the internet is awash with 5G. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, there's lots of theories about this.
Absolutely.
And it could be a good thing that this is happening because they need to reset the internet so it's more open to everybody, and they need to reset the banks and things like that, and they can't do it if it's on.
Yeah.
So there is another way of looking at it that maybe it is a positive
I understand what you're saying. And there is another way of looking at it in relation to what we're going through at the moment, where President Trump just got 35,000 kids released from some paedophilic, horrible, dark, ritualistic rubbish. Do you know what I mean?
Well, exactly. And you've got to think about why, all these extra hospitals are going up.
Yes.
So, I mean, but we're not going to know, are we, until it comes out? And
no, we're not going to know.
Hope that things do come out, because at the moment it's really just rumours, isn't it?
It is. So, where are we, and what's going to happen to us over the course of this month? I mean, I know that we're going to decide whether we want to be a living room, bedroom, or garden, really. But astrologically, how are we?
I mean, when I went to do it for horoscopes, I did actually think, well, maybe I should just write that for everybody because I know what's going to happen. But I mean, so some big things coming up, like next week, is we've got a full moon in Libra. Which is always connected to relationships and like business partners, and it's normally about ending. So quite often something happens like in a relationship here, and with friendships as well. But it's about balance, about bringing balance back. But this full moon comes along with a quite dangerous aspect, which is Mars square Uranus, and so it can bring impulsive behaviour, restlessness, rebellion, especially against those in control. Like people might feel a little angry, so then there's little accidents, So it's a day to watch out for on Wednesday, just to look out for those things. But the rest of the day, there's some quite nice aspects. And the lead up to Easter as well, there's a lot to do with healing, about, letting go of old wounds. So people might find lots of stuff coming up from the past, but it's important because it needs shifting. My guides, separate from astrology, have been telling me about Easter weekend for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So watch out for Easter weekend. I don't know if this is when the darkness is going to come in, but it will be a good thing because it's healing, and about being more in touch with ourselves and finding ourselves again and who we are feels really important for Easter weekend.
And I think a lot of that is down to why we're in this as well, because it is about reflection, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It is totally. I mean, we've all needed to slow down, take some time to actually think about what is important in life, because I think it has been forgotten. Another big thing is Mercury's moving into Aries next weekend. Now, so with the way people are communicating, it's been in Pisces, it's wishy-washy, it's emotional, it's not really straight to the point, whereas when it goes into Aries next weekend, it's out there. Do you know what I mean? People say exactly what they mean, what they think. So again, that's something to look out for. It does make you feel a bit more energetic, but it can make you feel a bit anxious as well. So that's just, but it's a much nicer vibe when Mercury's in Aries than in Pisces.
Yeah.
And then it kind of feels like the end of the month, like some kind of calm comes back. So we've got a new moon. I'm in Taurus, and the sun's in there as well, so it's a lot more grounding and earth energy. And then Pluto goes retrograde as well, which is quite interesting that it's going retrograde the end of the month, because Pluto is all about power and control, and it's going retrograde. So it's kind of bringing transformation, and we might find out a bit more about what's happening with the economy and things like that at the end of the month. And actually how much the Earth has actually healed, we might find out something about that as well. So it's actually, quite nice. But then we've got quite a few Uranus conjunctions, and that is unexpected change. So we need to be aware of that this month, that, anything can happen.
We know. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like really important, to be aware of that this month, that anything can happen and things can change in a moment. So it's important to know. So going forward for each sign. So I've tried to do this to the quarantine. So it's not.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
But so Aries, they might be thinking about their appearance and creating change, but a good idea not to do anything drastic, like cutting your own fringe or dyeing your hair a wacky colour. Like wait till you see the hairdresser
like
when you
mine.
Get out again. You might also be thinking about exercise and how you can put it into your daily routine. And the full moon is in their love zone, so if all's going smoothly, then it'd be a great time to deepen commitment. But on the other hand, they might get so annoyed that they'll be like, right, I've had enough. The new moon on the 23rd gives an opportunity to earn some money. So, and also if they've been undervalued in their jobs, if they're still having to go to work, they might actually get a bit of recognition that they deserve going forward. But they might also be thinking about a new career in this time out. And they need to believe in themselves because they can achieve what they want to. Taurus, so it's important they use this time in quarantine wisely and do a new course or study that will help them to broaden their horizons. They might be thinking about travel. Although we can't travel at the moment, it's good to make a vision board of all those places you'd like to visit. New opportunities will appear when the time is right. The full moon they'll be wanting to get organised, sorting out paperwork and thinking about their daily routine. The new moon is in their signs. This is a really good time of year for them. Obviously, they might be having some birthdays where they're kind of in quarantine, which can be quite difficult for some people. So, maybe think about plans in a month or so instead. If something's no longer working, then they need to make sure they do things their own way and not do what others are telling them. For Gemini, they've been working hard on themselves and becoming more accepting of who they are. They may be working hard as part of a team and people are appreciative of their gifts. They might be looking at spending habits at this time and realising that they impulse buy or they lend to others and not get back. They now have the power to resolve and start fresh. The full moon, they'll be wanting to have some fun. It might be difficult to get out and socialise, but you could do something by video link with friends. The new moon on the 23rd, they'll be feeling like resting and recharging their batteries. So book themselves in for a good movie and a book. The Cancer, they might be going through some kind of rebirth when it comes to relationships, maybe having to spend a lot of time together in ways that you can be more open and have more fun, or maybe you wind each other up and again, a bit like Aries, decide to make partings. Whatever ensures, just know it's the right thing. So just go with it. If single, there may be a suitor that arrives out the blue. The full moon is in the house of the home. They'll be thinking about decorating or looking through old albums.
Hello, Teresa. My God, we've lost her. She's been taken off.
I'll be thinking about their house.
Sorry, you're there. Sorry, Tree. We lost you for a minute.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's all right.
That's right. So Leo, they might be thinking about their health and wanting to get to the root of any issues. Your body speaks your mind, so what are you holding on to? You may also be thinking of detoxing in this time. The full moon on the 8th, you're thinking about the way you communicate, and it's possible you have a connection to your neighbour or sibling. The new moon on the 23rd brings your career into focus. Maybe you'll start to do something new, or you'll find that you save money on things like travelling. So obviously they might be walking instead of driving. Virgo, this month it's wise not to be too impulsive. Anything that's meant to be will be. You're always super organised and may at this time have nothing to do. So make a routine that you can make fun. The full moon on the 8th, you may need to have a chat with a partner about finances. Everything down on paper will make things much clearer. The new moon on the 23rd, you may start a new study that will help you to expand your horizons once you get back into your usual routine at work. The Libra, you may be thinking about finding out more about your family tree at this time and feel the need to beautify your home. You may come across some old photos or memories that make your heart sing. You'll also be thinking about being more creative. The full moon is in their sign. They've worked hard on themselves over the last year, so give yourself some praise for what you have achieved. The new moon on the 23rd, you could hear some good news relating to an inheritance, rebate, money that is owed, and the second property might bring prosperity. The Scorpio, you may need to be thinking outside the box. There may be issues that you now need to challenge head on rather than burying them. Whether it's at work or at home, it's time to get things out in the open. The full moon on the 8th, you'll want to be taking some time out for you to schedule a duvet day and catch up on your favourite box sets. The new moon on the 23rd puts your love life in focus. There may be a new beginning, a new attraction, or your partner may surprise you in some way. Sagittarius.
Great sign. What a great sign that is.
Right at the end. You'll be wanting to spend a lot more time in nature this month and giving yourself a well-earned rest. You've gone through a lot recently and should be proud of yourself now. You'll be turning a corner. There could be a positive shift in your earning potential, but you'll need to put the time in. On the full moon on the 8th, you'll be in a sociable mood. Even if you can't be around your friends right now, you should find some other ways to keep them entertained, like you do, Clint.
I've got to find some first. I'm joking, yeah.
The new moon on the 23rd brings a fresh start to your routines and health. What can you do differently? What do you want to give up?
Ooh.
Capricorn, maybe not right now, but Capricorn, you've had a difficult time over the last few years, and being under quarantine could be taking its toll, or you are actually quite enjoying this time to yourself. This month, you'll feel stronger and able to make fresh starts. It's time to get to the bottom of any underlying issues. The full moon on the 8th puts your career into focus. It's a time for putting yourself out there a little bit more and standing your ground if you need to against a manager. The new moon on the 23rd, you're feeling like having some fun and romance and may start a new project that is creative.
Wow.
Aquarius, you may be redefining your goals at the moment and feel frustrated as plans have come to a halt due to the pandemic. It's important to slow yourself down at the moment and take little steps. All will be well again soon. The full moon on the 8th, you may be connecting to others from abroad who are helping you with advancement. The new moon is in the home. The new moon on the 23rd. Home is where the heart is. You may be clearing out some rooms, getting rid of clutter, planting seeds in your garden, or preparing for someone to come and stay, which may help you out financially. Pisces, be gentle on yourself. Some situations you cannot control. You did your best, and you're more appreciated by others than you think. Someone may be straight talking this month and make you feel pushed into a corner. The full moon on the 8th has you worrying about your partner's finances and property. Try not to overthink things, as all should work out just fine. The new moon on the 23rd brings a new beginning within the neighbourhood, or you may be thinking about new ways to travel or pass that driving test, or thinking about passing it, bringing you more freedom, or you could do a course to improve your technology skills.
Wow.
So yeah, there you go. So
isn't it?
Even though
it's interesting. A lot going on. Lots going on.
Yeah,
even though we're stuck in a place, there's still a lot going on around us and with ourselves. And as I said before, it is a time of reflection on ourselves. I think it is a time where, like you see, we're having a little bit of a rest, but in that rest, we're growing. We need to grow, and that's growth, inner growth, understanding the spiritual core element of what we are, which I think will overcome the materialism of what we sit in. And it is a time of communication, I think. It is a time of rebuilding things that are lost with partners or anything, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and of course, Aquarius energy is really coming in over the next few years, and that's what it's all about, is connecting through technology, friendliness, looking out for each other, the community. It's all about that, and that's what the new age of Aquarius is going to be more about. It's sending us into a new wave of technology that we've never known about before. It's all gonna come out now. I think that there's technology that's been hidden from us as well, and it's just all gonna.
Yeah, I agree. Loads have been hidden from us. I can tell you, loads of it. But, we're only showing what they want us to see. But in actual fact, they're put in front of your eyes what they're doing, but you won't see it. That's the thing.
Well, I know, and that's the scary thing, isn't it? Is that I've been looking back at things, and it's like in all the movies, like, why did they put Contagion on last weekend? Why did they put it on the telly?
Yeah.
Have you seen that film?
I have, yeah.
It's like, it's exactly what's happened.
Exactly what we're in.
But the ending, that everybody gets saved by a vaccine.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's just like, it's like you've got to think about why they put it on the telly.
I know.
Because really, it's going to make people in more of a state of fear.
Of course it will, because everyone will be watching it.
It's just interesting what...
It's a bit like putting Aeroplane on a when you're flying. The film's Aeroplane, it all crash and all sorts and that. It's the same thing. But, in relation to films, I mean, you've probably seen it. I've probably sent it to you, actually. There was a film made 3 or 4 years ago, or even 2 years ago, in China, which actually is an episode. It's a Chinese show where they mention COVID-19 coronavirus.
Well, they've been fooling us for a very, very long time.
Oh, yeah. Bill Gates was doing a presentation on coronavirus, COVID-19, in 2015.
Yes, I saw that. And again, it's like, why? Like, they're laughing at us behind our backs,
they are.
really.
Yeah, they're treating us with contempt. They really are. They think we're stupid, But
I think too many people have woken up now. I think 10 years ago, it was all conspiracy theories. Nobody wanted to hear it because people would get in a lot of trouble for speaking out. Whereas now it feels like
everyone's saying the same thing.
It's not censored anymore, and everybody's But
there
still are people that aren't, on a different level. But
when
it's just interesting.
When the Inview isn't here and they cart me off to prison or whatever, and then they say, "Well, I don't know where Clinton," you win. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure that won't happen, but that's extremity. So that's the way they could go. People that are if you like, not agreeing with what they're doing, but that's not just people like us. That's people like you. That's people within everyone I speak to has the same opinion that there is much more to this than this. Do you know what I mean? Because I go back and I say it time and time again, and people say, well, it's coronavirus. It's a form of flu, very bad flu. And thousands of people a year die of it. Between 260 to 600,000 people a year die of it in the world. And, that's not just called... They might have all sorts of different strains of the flu, and it might be in its worst extremity. I just find there's no consensus here at all with what other countries are doing. And I don't understand it at all. I really don't. I don't understand how we are doing things so slow. We haven't got anything. I don't understand any of it. I know that we had cuts and all sorts of that, but I mean, surely they could go to the military and say, "Can I have all your PPE?" Do you know what I mean? They must have stacks of it.
I think it's there, but it's just not being delivered, is it? Like, quick enough, or
it's like waiting for a bus that never turns up. But it's serious because people are counting on it. Got front. When I started this tonight, I talked about clapping for, which is okay. I don't disagree with that, but it's many of the people that logistically make it up our society when in times of trouble where we're sitting in. But one of the things about the NHS is not everyone out there clapping is good, but in actual fact, what they should be doing is getting massive pay rises.
Well, yeah, and that's that's the thing, isn't it? I find the clapping thing is good, but every week, and it's just interesting, isn't it?
I mean, they're doing their job that they signed up for. We recognise that what they're doing is very valid and very true. These people are not earning enough money for their job. Policemen don't earn enough money for their job. Doctors don't earn enough money for their job. Firemen don't earn enough money for their job. All these people, and you've got people sitting in Parliament earning 85,000 a year that go to sleep.
And at the end of the day, you know, these are the frontline workers
that
are doing everything.
They're not kicking footballs for £500,000 a week.
Yeah, well, that's funny, isn't it? Have you heard about that? Are they wanting them to take a 30% pay cut?
Yeah, and I think they should. I really do.
It's just quite, and that's quite. I thought that was quite an interesting statement for the government to make.
Yeah, but whether they do it or not,
they're earning too much.
They earn way too much.
We're going to strip them of that and keep it like that. It's just interesting.
But we have
Things are changing.
We have to come to a place where actually the whole structure of the way we live's got to change. Money's got to change, and everything's got to change because it doesn't work as it was. Do you know what I mean? So you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if the stories are true, then everything should be changing and in a more positive light. So.
Yeah, we hold the positivity. I think. We hold the positivity. And if people want to get hold of you, young Teresa, and I'm always grateful for you coming on, you fantastic job you do. Teresa's a lovely lady. If you know, when we get back out there, she's a good reader as well. She does all sorts of different things. If people want to get hold of you, where would they get hold of you?
Yes, so I'm on Facebook under Intuit Soul Teresa Sow. Or my website is www.intuitsoul.co.uk.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Teresa.
Thanks for having me. Take care, Clint.
No, and you stay safe and you do all the things you're meant to do right now.
Yeah, thank you. And you. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. There's Teresa from Inuit Soul. Fantastic. Comes on once a month, gives us the stars for the month, and obviously it's difficult this month because obviously we're all indoors, aren't we? So it's not like we can go somewhere or do anything or whatever. A few comments. Jason said it on, you have Dr. Nigel. The Royals have the best food and medical attention, etc. That's why they're healthy. The family have been up to shit for over 1,500 years or more and feel above. You're absolutely right. I totally agree with you. And it's only the fact that the press and ourselves bore our holes into them to see what they're up to that we catch them out now. Whereas before it's all hidden. But they're into things that are very, very dark and very shady. Matthew John says they're trying to get everyone hooked onto the state, out to destroy all small businesses and move everything to the big business. And he says with everyone going to have to take the red pill, going to be a lot of angry people out there. It's the first stages of all the deception coming out. I think it is. What Teresa said there is very true. We do live in a time where the truth will prevail and the truth will come out. There's no doubt about that at all whatsoever. We are waiting for our next guest, which is Jo Duckfield, the whole of you. She will be ringing at any point, hopefully, or we will ring her up. How are you dealing with things out there at the moment yourselves in this difficult time? Well, we won't be able to answer that because we have got Jo on the phone. Hello, Jo. Hello. How are you? You're bubbly.
I am. I'm full of it. I've been doing little online reading. So
I know. I've seen that. How's that gone?
It's really good. I've been doing daily meditations, and that's been really helping people. So I felt like I just wanted to be an anchor for people.
Yeah.
And be on there every day and offer something for free for people that they can access to connect. And it's gone down really well. It's about 39,000 people have gone through the page this week.
39,000 people?
39,000 people.
Wow. That's a lot of
crazy.
people, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't think about it though. I just think I'm talking to one person and then I can cope.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like on here with this show.
Yeah.
You're just talking as if you're just talking to yourself, really, and just talking to you. There is people listening, and people listen to it over and over again, which is really good. And obviously, we all, in a way, we all look at different ways of how we can help and be part of a cog, if you like, of a changing, because we are in massively changing times, as you know. And I'm not going to use the word unprecedented because that seems to be in the dictionary of every politician. But it is a difficult time where I do feel we are in a way we are being manipulated to a very high level. I feel. I know that there's a lot of things going on. I know there's a lot of things going on in the background. But the fact is that, you know, do you buy everything you see? Do you know what I mean?
No.
No, that's the short answer. So that's absolutely right.
But I think as well, the thing that's been coming to me all for about 2 weeks is, why should I believe you?
Yes.
And I'm not talking about you personally. I mean, literally, when I'm hearing things and I'm reading things, why should I believe you?
Yeah.
Why do you know better than me? Why should I believe what you're telling me? Why should I buy into what you're saying is true? And the answer will always be within you. Yeah. Is that actually, regardless of what's happening around us, and like you said, they use the word unprecedented. Of course it isn't, because the world's been thrown into turmoil on more than one occasion in a kind of way, but this is flu.
Yes, flu on an epidemic of flu.
500,000 people die every year in the world from flu.
Yeah.
But the difference is we've got a vaccine for it, and so they make us feel things because viruses feed on sugar. Okay, they feed on it. So does bacteria. So if you have high blood sugars, which I shouldn't have, but mine is unpredictable, it will feed on it. So that's why diabetics get a worse version of this virus, because the sugar feeds it, so it's stronger. So the effect on your body is more powerful. Yeah. But that's no different than the flu.
Yeah.
And I refuse to have a flu vaccine because I don't want it, because it's got mercury in it and God knows
it's got all sorts of crap in it.
And I do that, which is rather stupid. I've had pneumonia twice, and I had pleurisy about a year or so ago because the flu will turn nasty for me. But every time I fought it, and I'm fine. But we have been led to believe that this is deadly. You leave your house. The thing that made me shudder, and the thing that I've been fine through all of this, because actually I self-isolate all the time. I'm not really a going out and being with people kind of girl. Yeah. I'm always in my cave with my cauldron tucked away. And so I self-isolate quite easily. But when they took the civil liberties away, when they come in and said, you can't go out, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do the other, I tell you what, Glenn, it was massive for me. My whole body, I actually felt nauseous, I felt sick, I felt ill, and do you know what it threw me back to? And this is going to sound ridiculous to some people, I don't care, this is my truth.
Yeah.
It took me back to when the witch hunts were going on.
Yeah, I know.
It took me back to those times of when you couldn't be in more than groups of two. I mean, they actually said that on the news. That's exactly what was said to people during the witchcraft trials. If you cough or sneeze, you could have it. You need to be locked away. If you've got any of the symptoms, you have to be locked away. You can't go out. You can go and exercise for an hour a day. There was all of these things, and it was triggering the shit out of me because that civil liberties, and it's frightening. It's frightening if you think about it too much, and it's been done in such a way that, and I don't do conspiracy theories, I just don't. I believe what's in front of me. That's what I believe. And what's in front of me is that in a very clever and very easy way, where we all accepted it and we thought they're saving us, we've accepted having all of our civil liberties taken away. It's the cleverest con that we will ever see. That's my feeling.
Yeah, you're right. Because we had no say in it anyway. They just did it because, you know.
We had more than a say in it. We wanted them to do it.
Well, yes.
People were begging them to do it. People are shopping their neighbours in.
Oh, I know they are. I know, but these are people.
I found myself sat in my back garden and I was moaning about one of my neighbours because on the first day of lockdown she had loads of visitors and my head was screwed by it. This is what's happening, and it's the cleverest ruse, honestly.
The thing is, it's not that clever though, because we can all see it.
Well, you can, I can, but there are swathes of people that can't.
Oh, I know, but there's
of people that are thanking them for doing this, that are, you know, actively don't go out, don't do anything, don't. And I think that's right in the sense of we want to protect our vulnerable. I'm not telling people to ignore that advice, but because it's got to a point now where it is everywhere and it does kill people. I mean, that's the fact.
As flu does. As flu does.
So yeah, it's crazy and it took me back to.
It is in a way. I have said for a long time that before all this came along, I said for a long time that spiritual people are still being witch hunted.
Oh, for sure.
Still being witch hunted. Long time ago, when I used to do talks all around the world, when I used to do workshops, they're being witch hunted constantly. You get people come along to try and disrupt it, try and do all manner of different things because they don't want you doing it. We stand in a space, and as you say, we stand on power. And as we stand on power, we stand on truth. I'm not doing this show because I'm Clint Denyer and I'm amazing and I've got massive ego. I'm doing this show because I want people to get together to be part of something, so we can actually talk about things other than what is expressly put out in the news, which is absolute garbage, to be honest. They want everyone in fear. They want everyone to be controlled, and we are heading. With the new draconian rules that's come in, we are heading, as I spoke to the last couple of guests, into very, very draconian time, which we come up to the end of next week when we come out of lockdown, where we find actually we're just going to stay in lockdown for at least another month.
Coming out of lockdown. I sat with my guides today I've been told that nothing is going to change very much until around the middle of June. That's what my guides are telling me to hold on tight.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when they're in, which they will pass through in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
You can't take them away.
No.
And it's all very well in this situation, but the thing that made me shudder today was when he said, "This is not a request, this is an instruction. And if you don't behave, we'll even stop you exercising." And you think, what the fuck?
I know.
Sorry, I shouldn't swear.
No, it's all right. No, I understand what you're saying, because they are saying that we're going to stop people exercising.
How? It's like, how have we let this happen as a collective? But it is here.
Yeah, but do you not feel that it is part of a massive plan in relation to nature, which is the course element, which is actually claiming back a space that humans have really destroyed? And
I think there's two elements to it. When I've sat with it, and I have sat with it a lot, I need to understand it from my perspective, as in I don't think there's always a magical spiritual reason for everything, but I do think in this case, Mother Nature's flexing her muscle.
Yeah.
She's showing us that she can just flick a tiny little virus in our way, and it can travel, and it can disrupt, and it can remove us from the equation, which she doesn't need us. We are parasites here.
Absolutely, we're nothing. We're plankton in the universe.
Yeah.
As humans.
She will survive without us. We cannot survive without her, and she's flexed. She's shown us all that. But the other side of it is, whether you believe it was manufactured by man, it needed nature in it. So
well, nature would automatically take its course, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. But the other side of it is getting onto like a plus side of it. I've had conversations with people who would doubt that or consider that. But when you look at the map of the world, when they show you how the virus is spread, it makes some people realise, and it has woken people up to the fact that we are all connected. That is not a bombshell to you or me, but it is a bombshell to the people that aren't yet awake.
Yeah.
It's that
unfortunately, though,
just like love does, just like knowledge can.
Yeah.
This virus is showing us that none of us. We are all parts. This is my thought, right? This is my thought. In our body, there's about 50 billion cells, and none of those cells can exist without the others. And we're an organism filled with mostly space, aren't we? Empty space. But if you think about the Earth and human beings on it, we are all part of an organism as human beings. What if we are all individual cells within this one organism that is the human being or the human race? That's what we are. And our body's infected. As a community, as a collective, we're infected with this virus. But actually, when you look at it, it's everything spreads in that way, whether it's anger, whether it's fear, whether it's love, whether it's a virus. We are connected. None of us can ever stand back from this and say that we are not connected to every other human being on the earth, because China sneezed and we caught the flu. And that's the fact of it.
We're all part of one.
Exactly. And even my brother, who is not spiritual at all, said to me, makes you realise we are all actually connected. And it was like music to my ears. So many people are realising this, which has got to be a problem.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Unfortunately, those that are in power, that it's not a conspiracy, but those that are actually here for a different element, because there is, as you said already, nature is a massive player here, but there is elements of a dark world going on as well. And the problem is
isolation. It's removing our unity. It's removing our togetherness by telling us all we have to be at home and we can't be together and we can't be in groups of more than 2 and blah blah blah. They are so worried that in a minute we're all going to realise our power as a collective. This is the other thing that I thought as well. See what you think about this. Is that idea that will people realise their power to do with big companies? Because those companies we're not spending money in right now, those companies we're not walking through the door of because they can't be open, they'll go bust.
Of course they will.
And yet we allow them to charge us so much money for things. And they've been ruling everything for so long that actually we have the power. And I just want everyone to realise that, you know, but people are not, they're not all awake, are they? I suppose it's just part of it. But my God, the power we have as a collective, just by where we spend our money, just by where we put our focus, that these companies, they need us more than we need them, but they let us believe the other way around.
Well, that's because they're ruled.
I'm ranting, but it's just,
but they're ruled by money, and they're ruled by manipulation, control, fear, which is thrown at everyone. Right? You put the news on tomorrow morning, it's fear, wall-to-wall fear with Corona Bologna. Do you know what I mean? And
those little boxes with the numbers in all the time.
This is the latest figures. And Piers Morgan, we are at war. We are at war.
Oh, that man, honestly, don't talk about it.
And you know, I look a long time ago, and Matthew Johns put a message in. Lots of conspiracies on fact in the last 20 years. Look at 9/11, proven fact it was controlled demolition. Look, when in the year 2000, we went through a few years of a very strange phase. Or leading up to even 2000, where we had the death of Princess Diana. A collective conscience was woken because that woman affected everyone in one shape or form with inside, because the energy that person carried, she's extraterrestrial, not from this world. And what she carried touched every one of us because she was murdered. That is it. Plain and simple. And those that are in there in power, those that I'm not going to mention, have blood on their hands. And they have to live with that and the consequences of that. Then you have the other areas. The tsunami, 250,000 people died through underground experimentation going on out in the ocean, which caused an epicenter, which kills 250,000 people to die, and nothing there to tell anyone it was coming. And then we had the Twin Towers, which, you know, the Twin Towers, these are 2 buildings, and you know, we're looking at people that you should trust. That's why, like you say, all the people that come on television that represent me, and they don't represent you, and they don't represent any of the people that have a like-minded, open, centered understanding of our existence, because they lie constantly. And they found out.
And there is a very strange version of reality that's pumped out for all of us, and it isn't my reality.
Yes.
I'm not. But the other thing is, that I want to say is there have been a lot of people saying that this is, and I know people are going to disagree with me, but people are saying it's the door into the 5th dimension. It's cosmic awakening. It's time for the Palladians to come down. Whatever it is. No, it's a virus. It's a virus that's been put within the human race, and it's hurting people, and it's changing the way we're all having to live, and it's given power to the people who will use that in a malicious way, as in the people that are at the top of the pyramid. I'm sure it will cause an awakening. It already is, and it is shifting things.
Well, you're going
shifting, but we have to deal with is the reality of where we are. If we start going off and thinking that spaceships are coming down to save us, that's not going to help the human consciousness. We've got to be here, and we've got to be now, and we've got to take our power and look at how we can make this situation into something that is a global awakening in a grounded sense. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than people going into that space of I'm gonna drift off with I'm respecting everyone's views, but I think that whatever your belief system, and if you do think it's opening the fifth dimension, then that's wonderful. But still be grounded. Don't use it as
do you know what? I'll tell you something.
Technique for not being here. You need to be here, because otherwise all these things are going to happen. Choices are going to be made on our behalf, and it's not going to be the way that we need it to be. We have to be here.
Yeah.
We have to be present.
Let me tell you something, Joe. You're the first one that's ever mentioned it. I've not even heard that this is a fifth dimensional doorway or something.
Oh my gosh, there's people cashing in on it. I mean, there's people telling you that if you don't do the workshop, you won't get through the gateway.
Oh, tell them to go and stick it up their arse, basically. What a load of bollocks.
It all this week. I've never seen such manipulative stuff. So there is that darkness within the...
Of course there is. Darkness exists in spirituality because it's infecting it.
Exactly. And I tell you what, months ago, I was doing that, I did channeling, so I will sit with somebody and I'll channel their guides or channel my guides, whatever that is. That's my truth, that's my existence. And there were many times for people where the way that my guides described it was they said there would be a dark energy moving through the planet around February, March, April time, that it would be trying to create extreme fear, extreme resistance. And I didn't ask what. I didn't say how, what, but it's evident that's what this is. And the only thing that's going to change it is people waking up and realising that as a community, as human beings, we've got to embrace each other. We've got to support.
Do you tell that to the people that are buying or was buying hundreds of toilet rolls?
Oh, don't.
And the millions of tins of baked beans and all the food because there's no food in there for anyone. You tell those to those people that are so self-centered, greedy, and uncaring as they are.
Hasn't it shown on like a global level the difference between those that give and those that give others and those that don't? And it's fear. We can't criticise them because they're fucking frightened.
Yeah.
They're frightened out of their wits. They're so tied into this narrative that we have no control and power in our lives.
But they don't anyway. That's the thing. They think they have, and it's illusion.
No, there's no control. But we know that. But this is the thing is, there's that element that we've got to remember that our soul is eternal. that little spark of energy, however you want to look at it, and I'm not religious, but that little spark of energy that we are, that brings us consciousness. The science can't say what it is, can it? It can't explain consciousness in any way, shape, or form.
I've sat on panels where I've sat with scientists talking about consciousness.
Yeah. 95% of the brain, they don't even know what it does, and things they thought were right have turned out to be wrong. Yeah. They don't know about this super machine we have in our heads. And it is that element of remembering that although your spark might change, so you might go from being human to being dust, to being a flower, to being whatever it is, sunlight, whatever you believe happens with energy, the fact remains that whatever happens now, however the world unfolds, we're all going to have to go through this shit together. None of us are alone. We're all going to have to go through this roller coaster. And actually, on the other side of it, there will be calm because nothing stays the same. The Wheel of Fortune in the tarot.
Everything changes all the time. Everything changes all the time.
Everything will come right. And actually, we have a choice now as to whether on the other side of it, we find some clarity in our life and we empower ourselves and we manage to get rid of all that shit we don't need and we see things for how they really are, or we go down with the shit. There's only two choices. There's two doors here. Yeah. And I know which one I'm taking.
I know which one I'm taking as well. But I do feel that the great cleansing on this earth is the wheeling out the wheat from the chaff. And it is and those that we want to help will come. But we do sit in a place where realistically what you're going to see is if we're going in another month of lockdown, which is easily going to happen, I think, that's going to be a breaking point for a lot of people, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it is but it's either a breaking point. Well, there is in some really old shamanic societies, if they thought their children were gifted, they would take to a particular cave within the community, and those children would go there from a very young age, and they would stay in the dark until they're about 10 years old, because they believe being in the dark increased all their senses, all their abilities, all their gifts. And so we can look at this time as maybe being in that cave and in that darkness.
I completely agree.
About allowing yourself to strengthen. You know who you can count on at the end of this, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And you will know your strengths, hopefully. You'll know your resilience. Some people, I mean, human beings are programmed that they tend to only take action when their back's against the wall.
Yeah, well, so when they have to actually think, because most of the time they don't think. And they certainly don't think about what's going on with themselves. That is very true.
People run away from themselves. Busyness and perfection are 10-ton weights that provide us with an excuse not to see who we are or deal with the stuff in our life. But now everyone's got space. So what are you going to do with that space? Are you going to spend it wishing everything was different when you can't change it?
No.
Or are you going to use it to bring in something in your life? Whether it is just changing the way you look at things, educating yourself, understanding things a different way, looking at the truth in your life. Who's really there? Who isn't there? What's needed? What's not? I mean, I'd be quite happy. I'm self-employed, so I'm living off my savings at the moment, and limited. But, you know, am I happy to live on baked beans every day? Yes.
Well, if you have to, you look. You go to any level, whatever.
Absolutely.
You know, we're not going to starve to death because there's always ways of getting things. Do you know what I mean? In relation to your buying power, what you need. I'll tell you what you said there about that's absolutely true. I know that story quite well. When I did my shamanic courses, they gave me a small tent and some water, and for 4 days and 4 nights, I had to go into. They put me into this woods, which was really very dense, very dense, and I had to stay there, and I didn't see anyone, and I couldn't eat, and I was drinking water, meditation, many different things. So it got to a point, because you do start to go into that world, because you cross into it. There was many times things were walking around my tent. Many times things were prodding at my tent. And there was one night very near the end where I went outside, and you broke all fears or anything. You go outside to meet what it is. Do you know what I meant?
I did. Well, you know, when I met me. It was, is that part of you which you're frightened to face?
Yeah.
When I lost my sight, I had to be face down in this bloody facial traction 23 hours a day.
Yeah.
I couldn't run away from myself. So when I talk about this dealing with difficulty and resilience, it's not from a place where I'm observing. I've been there many times.
Yeah, all of us, many of us have. I say to people, we signed up for this when we came here.
Absolutely.
That's why we're here.
Yes.
People don't realise that, but that's why we're here.
And well, this is the thing: is part of the awakening is having people support them, hold their hand, and guide them down the tunnel to realise that they are all they've got. Right? You might find the love of your life. I have, but at some point we won't be together. You know, you are on your own, and in this world, you have to like yourself. You have to be able to face yourself. If you can't face yourself, then you can't rely on yourself, and you have to be able to rely on yourself because you're all you've got. And so when people have been bypassing and avoiding dealing with life and dealing with themselves, because life has got too easy for them. That's the thing. Because they've got too complacent, and because of this whole society that we're led to believe is supposed to be what it is. It isolates people. It keeps people away from people. It stops you having any minutes of time to look at yourself because you're busy. You work like a slave. Do you know what I mean? Because we're driven towards. This is the way that I look at it. We've been driven towards the what, as in what have I got? What can I have? What do I want? What do I do? What do I do for a job? Where do I live? The what? Instead of the who. Who am I? What do I stand for? Who do I really care about? Who do I want to be? Yeah. everyone's focused on the what. We have this entitlement mentality and this approach to life and over-consumerism of shit.
Yeah, shit. It is shit. It's all crap.
Shit, and none of it's worth anything.
No, because we come in the world with nothing and we go out with nothing.
Exactly. But what you do leave behind is how you've helped others and how you might have made a difference. And
it's your footprint. It's your mark.
People will exactly. That's what people will remember you for. So as you're navigating this time now, where it feels like everything's been taken away, it really hasn't. Everything's been given to you. You've got this time now to really assess what do you need. And the other thing is Alan Watt, who I love, guy that was alive in the 30s, died in 1978. He was giving lectures, you probably heard of him, all around the world. And I listened to a talk of his the other day, and he said, if you don't know what it is that's going to make you happy, there's two explanations to that. One is you've already got it. The other is you don't know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you can't possibly know what you need to make you happy.
Yeah.
And I realised in that moment, I have everything I need to make me happy. Yeah. And yet I'm constantly asking myself, what do I need to make me happy?
You don't need anything, because you are it.
Put on my vision board. Yeah. And it's shit. It's wrong.
It is.
Who am I? I've got everything. There's people that will be dreaming of your life, whoever you are. Someone somewhere is dreaming to have what you have.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
We're not looking inward and seeing it.
I agree. I completely agree. That's when people say to me, well, how do you do what you do in the readings and everything else I do, and trance medium and God knows what else? It's because I believe, because belief is magic. Magic is essence, and it comes from you.
Yes.
You know, it's the driver. I wouldn't be doing this. If I didn't believe, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this.
You have to have trust.
Yes.
And this is what I find as well, is that from a very young child, I've been seeing spirit and hearing spirit and seeing the magic in nature and had experiences which were weird and wonderful and scary and what have you. And I've grown up with that. I have a trust in spirit which no one could ever move. And with that comes faith.
Yeah.
Because spirit show me that as a spark of light, as a spark of energy that I am, I've got abilities to create within my life. And when I look back at what I was wishing for as a child, I did have a very difficult childhood. I'm not going to go into it, but it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So anything you can imagine, it would be worse. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And I wished for things when I was a little girl, and it wasn't until probably about 2 years ago I realised I manifested everything I wished for. And it was simple things. It would be safe. It was to not be hurt. It was to have someone to love me. It was to have a comfortable home. It was to have a safe place and food in my tummy. You know, it wasn't the big house, the retreat, the Mercedes, all of those things. It isn't now either.
Yeah, and that is very much down to the fact that you're looking, like I did at a very early age, of what you are within inside yourself. And we have to go through immense pain to get there. But we get there. And when we do, then you enlighten other people. The problem is those people are too fearful to jump through the barrier, smash the window, go into themselves, because they're scared to let go. That's the problem.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is something that I pride myself in my work, is that I hold hands with people who are still scared, but they're going to trust me to help them push through. Yeah. And seeing those people emerge from the other side, and the healing is sometimes harder than the wound.
Yeah, of course it is.
You see them come through the other side in whatever method it takes is phenomenal. And seeing people realise that actually they have a choice in how they see the world and that they can see the truth. It's okay. It's okay to see the truth of things. You don't have to follow that paradigm where we do what we're told. And seeing people emerge from trauma and pain and difficulty, us healers, us light workers, we're going to be needed more than ever on the other side.
You're not kidding. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's us that will be part of putting that jigsaw back together again.
And to be honest, then somebody said this to me the other day. I can't remember who it was. But, what we do at this moment in time, even in what we're doing in helping people through a very difficult transition, all of the people in light, We're key workers. We are key workers in what we're doing.
We are. Honestly, I probably am having about 100 messages a day from people that I'm helping.
Yeah.
And people are, but I'm there for them, and I'm not being a martyr there. I'm just there for them because I can be. I'm lucky enough I'm at home and I've got the time to do it. But I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure every healer, every medium is getting the same thing. People are coming to us because they can't make sense of their world.
Yeah.
And Spirit will always tell you that everything's fine. Like Spirit, what Spirit say to me is the beginning bit when you're born is important, and so is the end. But the middle bit is just the entertainment. That's the way Spirit look at it. Like, this is the entertainment. This is the learning.
It's good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, yeah. They're not, because they know you're eternal. They know that your spirit's going to go on.
Yeah,
so they're like, well, just deal with it.
Yeah,
just deal with it.
Yeah, because people, their fear, and I mean, it's a big subject. We're not going to talk about it tonight, but I will talk about it one week because it's very interesting. Dying. Their fear is not being here. Their fear is the unknown. And actually, when you actually understand within inside yourself that this is only a speck of dust in relation to what...
It so is. And it's amazing. People ask me what happens when I die. All the time people ask me that. And I say to them that there is no fear in me of dying. In actual fact, people that I've nursed through dying, like people that have got terminal illnesses, that they've asked me to be there when they pass, etc. Apart from being a huge privilege, I also feel a little bit envious of them. And it's not because I don't want to live. It's because I know what I'm going to. And when your spirit moves through this world and we move on, my understanding from my guides and what I've seen is that we go back into love. There's only love. You're literally absorbed back into this field of love, and everything that you were is now irrelevant.
Yeah.
All that's left is the love.
And
so there's nothing to fear.
Absolutely. And what you said on is, to a degree, that there isn't going to be some alien race that's going to come out and save the world. But
they're already here. They've been here for
forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
And you know, at a crunch time, certain things will happen. I mean, I look at the sky and I say, where's my ship? I want to go home. Do you know what I mean? Of course. We all do. Because
you have, as I'm talking to you, you have a huge lion behind you.
Yeah, it's probably clawing me at the moment. It's hungry.
Male lion. Yeah, I don't think so. It's like watching over you. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's an endless subject, and it's not an easy subject for people to talk about dying. But you know, death is just another stage. It's literally another stage. But we're not going. We are heading for uncertain time. We are heading for people that will act irrationally. We're heading for a time that are going to look, as animals are pushed in corners, and in human form, we're animals. And when you and if they're not switched on, and if they're stuck in the system, which they are, then they're going to be stuck in corners. What are they going to do? I do feel that the way that there's complete confusion, no clarity, no consistency in relation to what's going on, there will be a case where people are going to change, and they're not going to change for the better. They're going to be on survival mode. Do you know what I mean?
Well, everyone's in fight or flight at the moment because they can't see the exit.
Yeah.
But
the difference is people like us are not looking for an exit. We're in the zone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The exit's not important.
It's a function of the brain because it wants you to stay alive, and everything in your external world right now is telling you you could die. Yeah. So everyone is in form of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
Yeah.
And they're all panicking, and that's normal for the brain. But what we have to do is take it back to a place where we rationalise it, and we say, well, if I get it, it's the flu. As long as I'm under 60, I mean, the statistics show that it's most likely I'm going to be through it okay. And if I'm over 60, then it's something like 49% chance that you'll come through it okay. If you haven't got an underlying condition, it's 80. Yeah. So really, what's the reality? You know?
Yeah.
But I do think you're right. There will be a proportion of people that will feel like they won't be able to take this anymore.
No.
You know, I can
the crunch day will come when they're told that they got another month inside in prison. Because for some, it will be like in prison.
You can look at it this way. You either look at you're stuck at home or you're safe at home.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it that I'm safe at home.
Yeah.
And, you know, but having said that, financially, you know, there's big considerations for people.
Yeah.
But it is trying to find, getting through this, is trying to find the positive for yourself and to try and find the way. That's not saying it's not okay to feel fearful and to want to go and scream into your pillow and all that. I'm not saying, of course you can, and it's normal to feel like that. So then do that shit and then come back to what you can do. What can you do?
Do you know
what can you do for yourself
right
now? What can you do to serve others? Because when you're in a position of panic and you're in a position of flight, one of the biggest ways to get yourself out of it is serve others. What can I do for others?
Absolutely.
What can I do to help someone else? It takes you out of your own self and your ego back into a place of serving.
Yeah, but the problem is...
It might just be dropping a cake round to a neighbour or getting some milk for your neighbour or whatever.
There's a problem is there is a lot of people not like that. You've got people that are bringing other people up to say that, oh, there's 4 people standing outside and all manner of different things, you know.
Well, those people are on a different trajectory to you and me because trust me, that is going to come home to them.
Yeah.
And that is going to be where they will isolate themselves in their communities, and so they're either going to change or they'll be forced to change.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that.
I agree.
My brother had someone, he was getting shopping for my mum. My mum got underlying health conditions that means she's got to be stuck in a house. And my mum is the kind of person who walks 10 miles a day.
Yeah.
I mean, literally for fun. And my brother's been doing shopping. And they've got these things on the supermarket where you have to stay a certain amount apart. They've even got tape on the floor, apparently.
I know, because my
brother said this man was moving in front of him as he was getting food and actually coughing and laughing. Near my brother. Now, my brother's a 35-year-old, healthy, young, fit man, and he's already had it, I think. So he'd done the isolation for 14 days and he was fine. So he's all right to go out. But he said, I couldn't believe this man was doing that. And he said there was older, vulnerable people there clearly doing shopping. And my brother nearly had a confrontation with him, but he stopped himself. But you're right, there is an element that will be arseholes, but they're going to be arseholes whatever's happening in the world.
Absolutely, completely.
So what are you going to do? You know?
I could sit and talk for hours and hours now. It's very, very interesting. Where are we? Matthew John says, you have to save yourself. All is within, Joe. Big love, sister.
Bless him.
And he says, don't suffer with apathy. And the great divide is coming together in community is the only way. It's the way unity is in community.
Yeah,
you've been amazing tonight, Joe. We're going to get you back on because we could talk about loads and loads more, to be honest. But
I didn't expect to come on another rant, but I did.
Well, you know, in a way, this is another reason I do this show. It is for people to get it out of their system. What's needed to get out there, because you know, people need to know that, you know, yes, you know, we're gifted people, but so are you. And within the blessings or whatever we have, so do you. And all of us. And I mean, I come in here and rant quite often. Do you know what I mean? About all sorts of things, because I see things that are wrong, you know. So
I just want to put it out there before I go. It's just that if you are feeling stressed and if you're finding that it's overwhelming you, then remember you can always do things to help yourself, a positive action. So do something which is helping you or something that changes the situation. A positive interaction, talk to a friend, go and chat to somebody online, or come and watch this show, or go and listen and do a meditation, or have a positive thought and look at what actually is good about this, because you will find some positives in there somewhere. There's always something you can do to bring yourself out of that low vibration, because the low vibration feeds the fear. And what we all need to do is try and lift our vibration to a point where we're focused on what we want to come out of this, not what we're in.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, how do people get hold of you, young Joe?
Well, my Facebook page is Joe Dutfield for the whole of you. So everything's on there. So you can contact me on there. And I'm doing daily live meditations on there. And a couple of times a week I do live reading. But the meditations...
Is that on Facebook Live or YouTube or...?
There's some guide ones. There's some for anxiety. There's some to strengthen your link to your own healer. There's various ones that I'll be doing this week.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah, to empower. I want people to be empowered.
Absolutely, because that's what we're here to do. I'm very grateful. We will get you back again. You know that, Joe. I'm always grateful.
Yeah, sure. It's lovely to chat to you.
And
I'm loving the new YouTube setup. This is much more positive.
Yeah, actually, I quite like it. It
works really well.
Took a little while. I got there, and thanks to others as well that helped me. But Facebook Live, I had nothing but interference. They didn't want me on there, basically. So I'm on here. Let's see how long we last on here. So
yeah, fantastic though. It's really good. All right, sweetheart.
Yes.
Take care. Look after yourself.
And you. And stay safe. And we'll speak soon.
Okay, loads of love. Bye.
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 The amazing Joe Dutfield, the whole of you. Lovely lady. Really interesting. Like Nikki earlier on, and like Teresa, we could talk for hours about all sorts of things. But you know, we have got another guest coming up, and this is funny. This is a funny guest, but it's very serious in lots of ways in today's world in relation to what's going on. We have got the return of Lieutenant Kit Kat, who is head of the Moorland Police Department, all the way in Somerset. And I mean, he came on here before talking about the problem with his goats. But of course, this problem's been made worse at this moment in time, which I'm sure he's going to talk about, because obviously it's not just goats that are run amok. There's all sorts of animals out there now run amok. So I'm sure that he's going to be give us an insight into what's going on with that. In actual fact, Lieutenant Kit Kat is on the phone right now. Hello, Lieutenant Kit Kat. How are you?
Sure.
How are you doing?
Yeah, well, I've had a bit of trouble in the last few last few weeks actually.
Have you?
Yeah, my bunion's been playing up.
Your bunion? Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, but
so you couldn't get your boots on properly?
No, I had to do a bit of self-surgery, but I went to the doctors the other day and they wouldn't let me in because of all this carnivorous virus stuff.
Carnivorous virus, yeah. Are you still on duty then, Lieutenant Kit Kat?
Yeah, I am now.
And there must be a massive problem at the moment because I mean we're seeing here on my wall, we're seeing films, not just well, I don't know what's happening in Moorland, but goats all over the place running amok in the streets.
Yeah, and the heart of it is in Moorland. Now, I infiltrated a special meeting they had the other day.
What, a goat meeting? Goat mafia?
Well, yeah, the goat mafia of Moorland in the back of the Skittle Alley at Thatcher's Arms. And I infiltrated that, dressed up as a goat.
You were dressed up as a goat? And did they speak in goat language or did they speak English?
Well, I don't know. Don't really understand what they were saying, but it's what they did, what they had in front of them. Because the leader, he could speak English and goat all at the same time.
Really? He spoke English and goat at the same time?
Yeah.
Well, that must have been a bit strange.
It was a little bit strange because I actually saw him. His head on the corner of the pub before he came in. So
oh my God!
They probably knocked him a bit silly.
Can I just stop you 1 second? Just some breaking news coming in here that Boris Johnson has been hospitalised.
Well, he should be institutionalised.
Yeah. Well, yes, absolutely.
Well, if I go back to this meeting,
yeah.
I had that meeting and they had some plans drawn out, and I didn't know at the end of it, when I came away from it, I sneaked out, whether they go ahead and stop them or not. Right. Because what they had in mind was to walk the streets and take over Bridgewater.
Really?
Yeah. And they were going to change the pub Wetherspoons, they're going to turn it into the Goat's Head.
The Goat's Head?
So I don't know whether they let that go ahead or not.
Well, was there other leaders from other parts of the country there as well?
Yeah, 5 different other counties There was a faction from Surrey. There was a faction from West Sussex. There's a faction from Cornwall.
Wales. There must be some from Wales. I think there's loads of goats free in Wales.
Yeah, I think you'll think of sheep there.
Oh yeah, it's a bit different.
Close, more sheep. Yeah, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if they got them on board.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of difference between goats and sheep, really, is there? They're pretty much the same.
Well, not really. Not really. If you've been working with them for as long as I have, I mean, there's a hell of a difference.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Anyway, I had to enlist the help of the FGS.
The FGS, who are they?
SGS, which is a special goat squad.
Is that like the SAS?
Yeah, it's a little bit like that. Yeah. So,
are they humans or goats?
No, they're goats. They are.
Oh, right. So they're specially trained goats that work for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I trained them personally.
Wow. How did you train these goats?
So, we got up at 6 a.m., got them out of their dwellings, shall we say, and up into the woods. And we had big workout. They had to climb over various assault courses. And
blimey, how'd that go? Because they seem a bit... It doesn't seem that agile, really, goats, do they?
Oh, they're more agile than you think.
Really?
They're not the sharpest tools in the box, though. That's the problem with them. So,
and
see,
is it as...
I go back with that. I go back to the pub with the meat in there. You see, before I left, I managed to sneak out. I thought they were, one or two of them kind of recognised that there was somebody in a goat suit, but they were so inebriated, most of them.
Well, they're all drinking.
Yeah, but see, they don't drink like we do. I mean, the landlord had put a special adapted rail, you see, about their head height, with loads of tips on.
So they're drinking alcohol through teats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well, that's different, isn't it?
It looked a bit strange when I got up, stood up, and tried to suck out one of these. It didn't look like, so I had to make a swift exit.
I bet you felt a right teat.
I did feel a right teat, yeah. I certainly did. But anyway, I think I managed to get out without them realising that I was a spy, like.
In disguise, disguise. And what's your goat outfit like? Is it very, very realistic?
Well, it's fairly realistic, yeah. If you can imagine, well, you know exactly what a pantomime horse looks like. Imagine a pantomime goat outfit.
Yeah. Well, I suppose they're a little bit dim. They wouldn't really realise that you're a human inside, would they?
No. It's just a bit different in size and a bit of a pot belly. I mean, most of the goats don't have that, do they?
Weren't they all at this meeting worried about carnivorous virus?
No, they're not worried about that. So they can't catch it, you see.
Can't they?
So that's the whole thing. That's giving them a chance to take over territories.
Right.
So that's why I was in a quandary, so let them, should I and the SGS let them take over Bridgewater or not? I've got another 15 hours or so to make the mind up because they start and they anticipate in having full control of Bridgewater by Wednesday, 7 o'clock in the evening.
Really? Well, it'd be shut down. It's locked down now, but it'd be shut down by goats.
Yeah. Totally. They were totally taken over.
Do these goats carry guns, do they?
No, they don't carry guns. They don't need guns, do they?
Well, they got horns, haven't they?
They got horns. Well, some of them have got horns, yeah.
Well, I suppose that they just bump people, bump into people, don't they?
Well, that's it. They just headbutt them.
They
just sort of charge them.
So their aim is to take over Bridgewater and turn Weatherspoons, which I think is called Carnival Inn, into the goat's head.
Yeah, that's the one.
Is that's they don't want to go out of Bridgewater from there because there are goats around the world breaking out right now.
Well, that's it. And they also planning on taking over, which they reckon they should do by about 11 or midnight, something Tuesday night. You see, because they're going to start early that day. They reckon they're going to take over the biggest nightclub there, and they're going to turn it into the Grotesque.
A nightclub called the Grotesque.
Absolutely. So you can see my dilemma, can't
well,
you?
it is a bit of a dilemma, yeah. I mean, you're sitting in your little police station there, aren't you?
I am at the moment, and I've got a few monitors. See, because
have you got CCTV camera attached to them?
Yeah, especially the representatives from each part of the country. Because as I went round saying good afternoon, good evening, that sort of thing, on this little camera on the side of their neck.
Right.
It blends in nicely.
And when they say good evening, is that because you having their goat language deciphered?
Oh yeah, I do, because with my work with the SGS, they interpret it for me, because I got this app on my phone, you see, and it can interpret it. Wow!
So it turns English into goat, or goat into English.
Goat into English, yeah.
Yeah. So if you were at a meeting, you could actually speak goat, because I expect you could speak through your phone at them, couldn't you?
No, I don't try and speak, because that would obviously be totally different. You can make up all kinds of stuff, and it won't be accepted. Even the stupidest goat would realise I'm not a goat.
Well, that's true, yeah.
I record the conversation, record it, and when I get back to the station, I just press the app, whatever, and it translates it for me.
Right. And how many's in your police station?
Well, there's only me and the leader of the SGS and his deputy. That's it. That's all that bans it at the moment, because every bugger is at home, isn't they? Locked up.
Well, yeah. Aren't you going to ask for reinforcements?
No, I don't need reinforcements. Not for this one, anyway.
Are you going to get the SGS with you when you're going to stop people and ask them where they're going?
That's not my job now.
That's
not my job. No, I'm going to let you know. Like I said, it's a dilemma whether to let this takeover Bridgewater carry on or stop it. But there is a third alternative.
What's that?
And that's to encourage them to do so.
Encourage them to what?
Encourage them to do so.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Encourage them to take over Bridgewater. And then, of course, the other goats from other states or other counties and that, they will see what's going on there, and they'll all come down, and there'll be like a goat city.
Goat city, yeah. Won't there be a problem, though, when the military turn up and start shooting them?
The military won't turn up, because they'll just leave them all there to get on with themselves and escape from New York,
Well, I suppose, to be honest, would anyone notice any difference in Bridgewater? Do you know what I mean?
Probably not, but only the names of the pub, I suppose, and the people. Can you just imagine a goat with a low-cut top serving you a pint of cider?
Well, yeah, that's weird. Plus, they wouldn't be able to serve it. It'd have to be on teats, wouldn't it?
Well, it would have to be, yeah. Because they won't be able to pick a glass up, but not with their hooves, will they?
They couldn't get their hoof round it, can they?
Well, they have specially adapted suction cups.
Oh, yes. They could have suction pads, but they couldn't put it on the floor. They'd be stuck.
Well, not on the floor, yeah. They'll do that.
If they stand on it, they won't be able to move.
No, you see. You don't want to go too much into that, because you'll get a bit too close to how we could stop them, see, in future.
Yeah.
But at this moment, I've got this dilemma, and it's weighing, in fairness, it's weighing towards letting them take over Bridgewater.
Wow. And this police station, is it very big?
What, mine or Bridgewater police station?
No, your police station.
My police station, no, it's not very big. It's not very big at all. Probably about 30 feet by about 60 or something like that.
Oh, that's quite big. And
you got 3 or 4. You got 4 cells in there, and then you got my office there, and you got the reception bit. You know, where my sergeant normally sits, but she's still over in Jamaica.
She's in Jamaica.
She's been locked down in Jamaica, isn't she?
Oh God, she was in Jamaica last time. She'd never come back.
Yeah, I know, but she decided to stay there a little bit longer, and I gave her special permission, like, because she was following up a lead over there. Because
was that from a dog?
Well, there's some Rasta goats over there, you see. And they've been speaking to the moorland goat mafia, and so she's been keeping tabs on them over there.
Right. So she's undercover.
Yeah, she's undercover over there. She is now. She was on holiday, but now she's undercover.
Right. And when she gets out from under a cover, she go out and see what they're up to.
Yeah, under her cover. Yeah. But these Rasta goats are pretty nasty, so I understand.
Matthew John's got a very interesting question. Well, a couple actually. I think you answered one of them, but your costume, is it made of real goat? And he says, have the goats noticed a lack of human activity?
Well, the goats have noticed a lack of human activity. Of course they have, because that's why they take the opportunity to go over and start thinking about taking over Bridgewater. Yeah,
but how are they going to get on when there's all these other wild animals that are out there roaming free as well?
Oh, they won't mind them. They won't mind them. They won't mind them at all, because, you know, when they set up shop, so to speak, they're put out, because this is one part of the plan I saw. They put out, I suppose you could call it what the police in America call it, an APB. They put out for all animals to congregate in this big park there, and they will be addressed by the leader of the moorland goat mafia, instructing, you know, what they plan on doing, and are you going to be with us or not?
Right.
And they're pretty damn sure that all the animals are going to be with them.
And what's his name, the head of the goat operations?
Head of the goat operations? Well, he's just named as Mr. Big.
Mr. Big. Right.
Yeah, Mr. Big.
Wow. And obviously you've been undercover with the goats for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, and he's got a sidekick with him as well.
Has he? What's he called?
Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid. Does he wear a cowboy hat?
No, but he certainly shoots a long way.
So, you know, I suppose your goats there, well, not your goats, but these goats, I suppose, think there's nothing outside of Bridgewater then, do they?
Well, I don't think much of it, but they know it's a strategic place.
They'll have to change the Wetherspoons menu, because obviously it's got goat's cheese on there and things like that. They wouldn't like to eat themselves, would they?
Well, they're not eating themselves, are they? It's goat cheese comes from goat's milk.
Well, that's true, yeah. But, you know, I mean, they might not be partial to that.
No, but, you know, if you remember, right, they're a bit partial to the old, I suppose you can call it the equivalent of cocaine, I suppose. It's the old goat's milk, which is frozen.
Oh, yes.
And then it's broken up into powder, and they've had one or two little bits and pieces they put into it. And then they sniff that at the bars, see?
Well, they do a roaring trade in Parliament.
Well, yeah, probably they do. But I can't see a goat getting through. Well, I don't know. You never know, do you? Walking into Parliament.
Well, you don't know. You know, with some of them that go in there, yeah. I mean,
some of them are goats.
So, I mean, do you not get any help from the main police station in Bridgewater, no?
No, they've gone. They run.
Where'd they go then?
I don't know where they gone. They just disappeared. Because I tried calling them 2 or 3 days ago.
Wow.
Several times a day. and I didn't get through. So I drove over there, and it's all abandoned.
Is it?
Yeah, it's all abandoned. Even, there's half cups of coffee still,
It's a bit like the Mary Celeste. Maybe something came along and took them.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know what it was, but I mean, it's just before the goat mafia decided to go and take it over. Maybe there's something else bigger waiting for them over there. I don't know.
Well, it could be. Yeah. Matthew John says, "Let the goats take over Parliament. They'd do a better job." Lol. They probably would. But you see, the problem is anyone going into Parliament in the next session will have to I don't know if you've heard of this chap, but we'll have to deal with Captain Corduroy. So I don't think goats would like to be dressed up in corduroy, would they?
Well, I've had dealings with Captain Corduroy before. I did issue 1 or 2 warrants with him in Glastonbury High Street about a year ago.
What was he doing?
Well, he was going up to these youngsters who had their jeans halfway down their arse, that sort of thing, with the permission of whoever he was with, whether it was his parents or uncle or whatever, that within a flash, he whipped them down and whacked corduroys on him, and would have put a T-shirt on him saying I'd been recorded by Captain Corduroy. So I had to, I didn't arrest him. I just took him to one side and said, this is Glastonbury. I know anything goes, but just keep it down a little bit,
Yeah, it's pretty. I think it's pretty quiet at the moment. It's quite quiet everywhere, and that's I mean, there is a lot of humans out there. There was 3,000 in a park in London yesterday.
Man, they're not humans. They're just dickheads.
So,
to speak as a police law enforcement officer, I mean, these idiots, they go out there, and because the weather's lovely out there, yeah, great. They will go out there and mingle. I mean, our police force, as you know, it's been it's the lowest in the amount of officers for several years, and we just can't cope. So the government will have no alternative but to support us by, with the army.
Right.
The army's going to come out.
Well, the army are going to go out sunbathing as well.
No, they're going to come out and support with the police.
Oh, right.
And then, of course, it's going to go up one step further than that, and then you're going to get almost like the martial law. And this is down to the people that will not do what they're asked to do. It's all right. You get 1 or 2 people, but I see 1 or 2 out of more who are walking around and go the extra mile or so or 2 with the dogs and that sort of thing. You just give a little polite warning, because I know there's no shops around there. And, just make your way back a little bit, because there is no one around there much.
No.
But when you get in the big, towns and that sort of thing, and they're accumulating on parks and whatever, I mean, there's no way they can keep 2 meters away from each other, that sort of thing. So, something has to be done. And when you get thousands and thousands of people all do it at the same time, the police can't handle it. We can't handle it. So we don't have something like the National Guard, like in the States, sort of like in between the police.
Well, like Dad's army.
Yeah, I mean, I can enroll a few goats, goat army, that sort of thing. I mean, that ain't going to help an awful lot, is it?
Well, no, not really. They wouldn't understand what people were saying, would they?
No, wouldn't need to. We just tell them what to do. Like, go round them up and say, it's just like, go round them up.
Yeah. Since you, I've got Jan Cardy that's just sent a message, and seeing as you are Lieutenant Kit Kat from the Moreland Police Department, you might be able to answer it. She's got a question here. Where did they find 4,000 beds and equipment so quickly for the XL building? Were they in storage somewhere?
Well, the storage somewhere. Oh, well, they were underground. I mean, that's where because it was transported, you see, by several big trucks from the Moreland Underground.
Right. Is that a station? I didn't know the station, Moreland Underground.
No. The Underground. I'm talking about the Underground. Yeah, when we've been talking about this before with the nightclubs and the pubs and that sort of thing, and the nightlife of the Moreland goat community. Well, there was this huge area underground, and there was all beds, all laid out. There was probably about 10,000 of them.
Really?
Huge, yeah. Because they were going to build this army. This is going to be, make ready to start taking over.
Well, the goat army.
When this Corvette thing come out, see, they didn't need them because they don't need nowhere near so many goats in the army there, in the goat army. They don't need them.
Well, I expect they've gone quite high tech, haven't they, really? The goat army's gone high tech, I expect.
Well, people, well, that as well. Well, people that, staying at home, aren't they? They're not going out so much.
No.
So, they don't.
Yeah, the goats are.
There, so, 1,000 and over to London.
Yeah. I don't know why, because I don't know who's going in those beds.
Well, I don't know. Has anybody gone in them?
I don't know.
I have no idea. But what I can tell you is, I know Moreland's a small place and that, but I haven't heard of anybody I know, or anybody's aunt whose boyfriend's mechanic's sister or something. I haven't heard of any of them who got this coronavirus type thing. No,
I don't think I know anybody that's of anyone, actually.
Yeah, because it kind of makes you think, doesn't it?
Well, it does kind of make you think, because if you think too much, then it hurts your head,
Well, it does hurt your head, yeah, it does, especially mine. I mean, God, you have to bang it up against the wall 2-3 times a day and think, what am I doing talking to frigging goats?
Well, yeah, but it's your job. I mean, you are undercover top secret style project, isn't it?
I am. I mean, I am with the SGS. I mean, they're only about 100 strong, but that's good enough. They're special trained.
Are they goat-born killers?
They are goat-born killers. They really are. I mean, if you can think like an army of what's his name? Harry Callahan. You know what I mean?
Harry Callahan, yeah.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood in his film.
Oh yeah.
100 like that.
Wow. So, can they kung fu and stuff like that?
No, they don't need to do that. They got guns, don't they?
They got guns. They're carrying guns, are they?
This for my lot do, yeah.
How do they fire them with their hooves then? Do they have special adapted fingers?
Well, yeah, they're strapped to the neck. Right? And when they walk normally, it just stretches this little cord, but they don't stretch it enough.
And then they fire.
When they put their front right leg up and they shake it twice, see, it puts enough pressure on this cord and it fires a gun.
Wow. So they're armed specialist goat squad.
No, they're specialist goat.
Oh yeah, neck. Yeah. That's a bit of a problem though, because if they did it accidentally, they could shoot you.
No, they're going to shoot me. I'm not silly enough to get in their way.
Oh right,
I walk right behind them.
So
do
they carry survival belts and rations and stuff?
No, they don't need rations or anything like that. Just go to the nearest field and bloody gobble up a lot of grass, don't they?
And what do you do? What do you do when you're on special goat squadron operations indoor? Because they do have a tendency to have loose bowels, don't they?
Well, they do, and especially when you're walking behind 100 of them and that, you're forever dodging them like landmines,
Oh dear. So I suppose the goats don't really know what's going on with coronavirus.
No, they don't really know. They just understand that the government's put everybody in lockdown, and there's one informant said to me the other day, because they got several informants in the goat mafia.
Have they?
Yeah, I have. I've got several informants. I've got 5, I think.
What? They're goat grasses.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they don't only eat grass; they actually grass.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, they grass. And they're special informants. You know, they got immunity when they come out when all this is over. You see,
right?
And yeah, they tell me quite a few things that are going to happen.
Wow.
And
so what's going to happen then?
Well, as I said earlier, that what they want to do is take over Bridgewater. And then the other representatives from the other county goats, right, which are there, they're going to take the information back because they don't have communications like we do. They have to do things the old-fashioned way, like wander back, whatever, you know, run back up to the various counties. That sort
so they can't ring anyone, can they?
No, of course they can't. And they can't, you know, operate mobile phones, can they?
No. So they have to, if they want to speak to somebody, they've got to actually physically go there.
Exactly.
And they can't drive cars, can they?
No. So this is where my SGS comes in, you see. No. Because they're strategically placed. Because they know what counties, I know what counties they've come from, these goats and their posses. Right? Because each representative from each county has got their own posse made up with 15 members, right? Because that was the ruling. No more than 15 goats to come down.
Right.
With the leader of that area, right? So we know exactly how many goats are going back and which direction they're going.
Wow. That's incredible.
When they get down there, and they see what's going on with the border mafia taking over Bridgewater, you know, they'll be there for a couple of days. You know, so my special goat squad, and that would be strategically placed up and down the country, you know, on the way to where these other goats come from, and be ready there to pounce.
It sounds very complex, doesn't it? I mean, when humans come back outside and they go into, I mean, I'm sure Tim Weatherspoon will have something to say about it when you know, he finds out that his pub's been taken over by goats, won't he?
He may well do. He may well do. But then, so is everybody. But what can one do?
Well, that's true. What can one do? Well, we live in strange times, so I'm not surprised that the goats are taking over. I mean, there's sheep.
As I said earlier, though, it is Bridgewater, so you may just say, "Oh, right, oh, fuck it. You can have Bridgewater. You can have my Weatherspoon. You can turn it into the goat head."
What about sheep? Don't sheep have a say here, or do sheep and goats don't get on?
Well, they get on, but you know what sheep do? They just follow everything.
Well, that's true. Yeah. They could be goat slaves then.
Well, they're the workers. They are. They'll be, you know, your bartenders.
Oh, what, the sheep? Yeah. So you go up to the bar and they say, you say, could I have a pint of whatever, and you go meh meh.
Yeah, that's it. You know, you walk up to the bar. Absolutely. And you order what you don't. There are several things which won't be on order food-wise, though, which is a bit obvious. There won't be no mutton. There won't be no lamb.
No, of course not. No, because it's against their religion, isn't it?
Well, that's it. I mean, they're not carnivorous, are they? Not
no.
Carnivorous. What's the word?
I suppose there'd be quite a lot of grass on offer on the restaurant.
Cannibalistic, yeah. Grass curry.
Grass curry. Grass and chips.
Grass and chips and grass hot pot.
Yeah. And I suppose there wouldn't be a lot of beer, really, because I don't think they drink a lot of beer, do they? So it'd probably be lots of grass beer, wouldn't it?
Well, that's it. They've got plenty of grassland in and around, well, just outside.
It sounds a very dodgy place to go to me.
Yeah, it is a place to go. Yeah.
So, are you? I mean, obviously, with all that going on, I know you're very busy and that, and I know there's only you. It looks like the whole of Somerset, to be honest. With your special goat squad. Are you not concerned what's going on with humans?
Nah, not really, because of it. Let's face it. I mean, I'm Captain Lieutenant Kit Kat. Not cabin. What am I talking about? That made me. I've opened the door there.
You're not locked in a cabin, are you?
No, I'm going to be captain. I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to be captain in the next few weeks.
All right, you're lieutenant right now, but you're going to be a captain. They're going to promote you.
Yeah, but I may not accept it, see, because if I accept it, that means they're going to post me somewhere else, and I quite like it down the border.
Oh, yeah.
There is no human crime going on at all.
No. So it's quite quiet, really.
Yeah, it is very quiet, and what with this going on with the goat mafia and me taking up with the SGS, I feel that my place is down there, and I don't particularly want to take that captain's role.
Well, I think you're right, because the historical knowledge of what you've been in. I mean, why take you out of a place that you know what's going on?
But absolutely. I mean, if anyone else took over this job, it might send them doolally,
Well, yeah, it hasn't sent you mad, has it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Mind you, there's a ring to it, Captain Kit Kat, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's like Captain Birdseye. You met him?
Captain who? Birdseye?
Yeah.
No, I haven't met him. He's a seafarer, isn't he?
No, he's on the sea, yeah. Yeah, apparently he gets on well with goatfish, I was going to say. Well, there might be goatfish, but you mean me? I'm changing my accent. I nearly went into deep sea fisherman mode there, didn't I?
Well, you had to mention the fish, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, I won't mention. I won't mention them again.
No, don't mention the fish. That comes a lot later.
Oh dear. Yeah. It's interesting that all my special guests on my show all say that, so they must all know something I don't.
Oh yeah, the fish.
Don't mention it.
No, don't mention the fish.
Well, I'll tell you what, Lieutenant Captain Kit Kat, sorry.
You'll get it right in a minute.
It has been amazing talking to you tonight. And
it's been amazing talking to you and all.
Yes.
Very well.
You'll have to let us know what happens when if they do take over the Wetherspoons pub in Bridgewater and turn the whole place into a goat place, you will have to report live from the Goat's Head.
I will, yeah.
And it'd be great to interview a goat live on air. One of the goat special goat squad.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're going to get some special chefs down there as well to cook all this grass menu.
Oh, right. Who's that then?
Well, we're going to get Jamie, whatever his name is.
Oh, Jamie Oliver.
Jamie Oliver, yeah. He's going to come down and he's going to cook a few goat grass classics.
Wow, that'd be good.
And we got, of course, with the sheep and that, because they're going to need to know how to run a kitchen. So we got Gordon Ramsay coming down and show them what to do.
Yeah, he'll be using his eloquent language, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, he will be. So he'll keep them in order.
That's if he's not travelling around with two other blokes in a van around America.
No, that's all been pre-recorded.
Oh, right, yeah. I just wonder if life has sometimes. It's a very strange world we live in at the moment. I just wonder if it has been pre-recorded for us, really. And we're just living through it in the past.
They're probably sitting on some astral plane somewhere, and we're just looking down and experiencing it.
Yeah. Well,
the whole world is a kind of Big Brother world, if you see what I mean, and other astral beings and space aliens and whatever, and that they're all tuning in, they're watching.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's like Edge You See. It's like episodes of Dallas, isn't it?
Well, it does, really. I mean, so, I still can't get my head around. I had to go into Bridgewater early, get some stocks and that, I don't mean to put goats, in stocks. I mean, get some stock, food stock and that sort of thing. And the amount of people I see walking around with these silly blue gloves on and masks, Is there an airplane gone by or something? Is this a James Bond film or is this like a little gas? You know, they're going to break into.
Apparently, allegedly, we weren't needing to wear masks because it isn't airborne. So we didn't. No, you don't need to wear a mask. And then 6 weeks later, they tell us we need to wear a mask.
Well, you know. If you say it's not airborne, I mean, define airborne. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of meters. No, we're not. I mean, if somebody coughs in your general direction, you know, they got it. I mean, it could hit your face, but then again, it could hit your eyes.
Well, it could.
It's not just about your eyes.
It could hit you anywhere, couldn't it?
Well, you know, short of walking around like a deep sea diver or something, you know, it's going to get you if it's going to get you.
Well, saying that, there is quite a large percentage of people walking around dressed in very strange costumes.
Yeah, it's almost like a Halloween party out there at some places, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, I don't wear a mask. I don't need to wear a mask. I'm pretty, you know, I mean, any virus won't come near me. I'm far too ugly for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, too ugly. The virus won't land on you. Yeah, I know that. I know that feeling. But the thing is, you know, I was only at Sainsbury's a couple of days ago, and they're all queued up out there, you know, roughly 2 meters apart, and it's all like a snake all around the car park.
Really?
Yeah, and you think to yourself, what is going on here? Eh? What is going on here? You're going in there just to get a frigging toilet roll.
I know. I don't know what the fascination with toilet rolls is.
I don't know what the fascination with toilet roll is. Maybe if you soak it in water and let it dry, you can make collages out of it or something like that.
Well, yeah, I make them nice sort of banners you put outside your house supporting the NHS and no one else.
Well, that's right. I mean, I even hear the seagulls down in Cornwall offering the toilet roll for a bag of chips.
I did mention about seagulls on my show on Tuesday, Wednesday even. I'll get the day right in a minute. Down in Burnham, actually, not far away from Moreland, there is a massive influx of seagulls coming because they know it's Easter. They work on migration system that they know in Burnham. At Easter time, there would be lots of people with chips. So they know that there's going to be loads of food. So there's loads of seagulls there, but there's no humans. So what they're doing...
They're out there, aren't they? They're baked out there, aren't they?
Well, yeah, because this person's got a dog and they put some food out for the dog. The dog went outside and ate it. And before the dog could eat it, there was a load of seagulls there eating the dog's food.
Yeah, well... Why not? I mean... Well, lasso the seagull, look, you take a seagull for a walk, couldn't you, mate?
Well, you could do, I suppose, yeah. I mean, you know, it's very strange, isn't it?
At least when it shits everywhere, you don't have to pick it up, put it in a silly little bag.
Well, that's true. I mean, it's worse in India. I mean, you know, because in India, there's zoos that's all broke down, and there's tigers and all sorts out on the roam there.
Well, that's it. Well, a lot of seagulls at the moment, and they have to hold the poo in, don't they? There aren't that many cars driving, so there's not that many windshields to bloody hit.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, you've been amazing having you on, Lieutenant Captain Kit Kat. It's fantastic to have you on. I'm sure the next time we'll speak to you when you're in the Goat's Nag's Head or Goat's Head or wherever it is, where you'll be eating a nice grass curry with a nice pint of grass beer.
Yeah, I can just about grasp that.
Thank you very much. We will speak to you soon, Lieutenant Kit Kat.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Thank you very much. Fantastic to have you on. It's fantastic to have you back as well, Lieutenant Kit Kat. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Bye. That's Lieutenant Kit Kat, if no one's heard him before. He is Lieutenant Kit Kat of the Moreland Police Department near Bridgewater, where he was telling us of the great story that you're not hearing in the press, are you? Another thing covered up. that the goats are taking over Bridgewater, and apparently he's got a dilemma. He's on his own as well. So, you know, we will check in with him and hear what's going on. Now, we've gone way over time as normal, but what the hell, it doesn't matter. Just to let you know, on the show next week, this is next Sunday, we do have Melody Morgan, Ems Lowe, Yolandi Boshoff, who's never been on a show before. And that's the 12th of April. That's next Sunday, and a special guest on as well. Now, remember, we also have our show in the week. It's on this Wednesday, on from 7 o'clock. Normally it's about sort of 8:30, something like that. Can go on longer, depending. 7 till about 8:30, 7 o'clock anyway. Start the Inview Connect, which is about Let's Connect. And it really is very much about everyone getting together, everyone connecting at a time where we sit in turbulence, you know, and, you know, you can come on and talk about anything. And if you're sitting on your own, or you just want to talk about something, or you want to rant, or you just wanted somebody to talk to, then you can ring us up on the number 07403 436 942. That number will be put out with the listing for it coming up for Wednesday. As always, you've been an amazing group of people tonight. My thanks to all guests tonight. Nikki and Joe and Teresa, fantastic. With Mario, we will get on in the not too distant future. And thank you all very much for taking part as well, and your comments and everything. Don't forget, Wednesday night show is your show. It's where you can talk and you can have your say. And I will be also putting out there, in regards, we're going to put a topic out there as well, which I feel would be interesting. So the topic for this Wednesday coming will be, I've got it on a piece of paper here somewhere. Bear with me. Here we are. Soul. What is soul? What is a soul? Tell me what a soul is. What you feel it is. Comment, ring in, do what you like on Wednesday, or message. You can message me on that number as well. I'll put it all out there anyway, and you can get hold of me on social media and everything if you want to comment. So we're going to be looking at what a soul is, and interpretations of what a soul is, and what a soul is with us, why we have a soul with us, and what's the purpose of that soul. So we're going to look at that on Wednesday, as well as whatever you want to talk about. So you all have a good week out there. I will see you Wednesday in the sister show, and then I will see you next Sunday. I'm just getting hot news that the Scotland's medical officer has just resigned in Scotland. Wow, what about that? Boris has been taken to hospital, apparently. So, you know, let's see what happens. All right. I will see you Wednesday, 7 o'clock on here on YouTube. If you've never been on here before, you've just come on here, like, share, subscribe, and then you'll never miss an interview. That's this show with guests or the show in the week. All right. Thanks a lot. Good night. Stay safe. All right. And see you all soon.